cleanup hitter, manning right field, number 3, Dusty Garcia. Batting fifth, playing first base, number 26, Jake Skipworth. In the sixth hole, designated hitter, number 12, Cole Howard. Batting seventh, at shortstop, number 8, Josh Pano. Batting eighth, center fielder, number 22, Nick Dumanel. And batting ninth, the second baseman, number 6, Connor McGuire. Starting on the mound for the Lancers, the right-hander, number 14, Spencer Fingard. And now this afternoon's starting lineup for your Hustlin' Rebels. Leading off in center field, number 22, Alex Pimentel. Batting second, playing first base, number 25, Rylan Charles. Batting third, behind the plate, number 5, Jacob Sharp. The cleanup hitter at third base, number 2, Darian Williams. Batting fifth, manning left field, number 47, Austin Kurizik. In the sixth hole, designated hitter, number 14, Cade Higgins. Batting seventh and playing second base, number 4, Braden Murphy. Hitting eighth, the shortstop, number 23, Paul Myro, the fourth. And batting ninth in right field, number 35, Jason Sharman. Starting on the mound for the Rebels, number 32, the right-hander, Noah Beal.
As the southern wind sings again a night of lullaby. You can jump right in, let the music pull you in. You can jump right in, go and lose yourself again. As the southern wind sings again a night of lullaby. There's a place the locals go, no one knows where to find it. And the river starts to flow inside the clouds of misty mountain. Water from this stone below becomes a blue-green fountain. As the southern wind sings again a night of lullaby. You can jump right in, let the music pull you in. You can jump right in, go and lose yourself again. As the southern wind sings again a night of lullaby. You can find me where the music meets the ocean. If you get the notion, stop on by and play a while. Simple tune to get your love light going. Keep your heart wide open, disappear just like the tide, let it roll on by. And jump right in, let the music pull you in. You can jump right in,
This one's me, yeah. So this one, actually, it's not affecting me at all. Neither of these are actually moving mine. There we go. No, that's the crowd mic. That's effects. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. These are all sends, right? These are going to be, because it's, yeah. So it's getting me, but this isn't adjusting. It's not a huge deal either way. That one's adjusting Dan. Do I have to? It's not a big deal.
Check.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So that's the.
Music is just cuz, but
gentlemen, taking the field for UNLV in left field, number 47, Austin Krizik. In center field, number 22, Alex Pimentel. In right field, number 35, Jason Sharman. Playing third base, number 2, Adarian Williams. At shortstop, number 23, Paul Myro, the fourth. Playing second base, number 4, Braden Murphy. At first base, number 25, Rylan Charles. Catching, number 5, Jacob Sharp. And on the mound, number 32, the right-hander, Noah Beal. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2023 Hustlin' Rebels. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that you please rise, remove your caps, and stand in attendance for this afternoon's playing of the Star Spangled Banner.
From Earl E. Wilson Stadium on the campus of UNLV, welcome into another edition of Hustlin' Rebels Baseball. Today, game 2 out of 3 on a weekend's non-conference set between UNLV and the visiting California Baptist Lancers, who took a 9-2 victory over the Rebels in this opening game yesterday. 9 runs for California Baptist, but the offense not the story of the day. It was the pitching of Liam Rocha. Struck out a career-high 11 in a start. The Rebels struck out 16 times as a team yesterday, amassing 2 runs on 6 hits, with a run and 2 of those hits coming in the bottom of the 9th inning in a comeback bid. It'll be Noah Beal taking the mound today, looking to give the Rebels their 8th win here at home on the year. UNLV enters at 14-21. California Baptist enters at 20-18. Along with Dan Dolby, I'm Matt Neverett, bringing you today's action as Noah Beal takes on Spencer Bengard in the pitching matchup. Beal 1-3 record, 5.75 ERA, and Dan, it's hit or miss with Beal, at least recently, but he's looking to get back into the form in the early part of the season where he was getting into the 6th and even the 7th innings and outings.
Yeah, Beal's been a really good addition to the staff over the last couple of years. Started off the year a lot stronger than he showed over the last few outings. San Jose got roughed up just a little bit, came out of the game, not because of a pitch count, just a little tightness in his lat. So going to be looking to try to extend some innings for the Hustlin' Rebels today. Beal's a strong kid, does have a nice fastball, but has been working on the movement and getting that curveball and slider across the plate a little bit more consistent than he's been in the past.
6'4", 205-pound junior is going to be asked to eat some innings today, with 4 different bullpen arms coming in the 9-2 loss yesterday, including Nick Rupp, Josh Sharman, Cole Roberts, and Peyton Fuller, who ended the game with a 4-batter 9th inning, only allowing a runner to reach on and air. Beal, in his 9th start, 10th overall outing of the year today, has pitched 40 2/3 innings coming in. He struck out 30 batters and walked 11, trying to bring down his .311 opponent average against. Rebels going with their Saturday best, snow white home uniforms with the scarlet red caps. California Baptist, after rocking the blue jerseys with white pinstripes yesterday, go with the more traditional look today, beg your pardon, with the road gray on gray uniforms. In from the right side to lead it off is the left fielder Garrett Ostrander. And Beal's first pitch out of the stretch, down the middle, taken for a called strike. And we're underway at 107 on a 78-degree Saturday with the wind blowing straight in here at Early Wilson Stadium. Couldn't ask for better weather for the middle game of the three-game set. The 0-1 from Beal to Ostrander's inside, and the count now even at a ball and a strike from Beal to Ostrander, who's hitting .367 on the year with a home run and 16 driven in, 2 for 5 with a pair of base hits in the later innings yesterday for the outfielder. 1-1 offering, swung on and hit straight away to center field. It's Alex Pimentel roaming the range in center today. He moves over to the gap in right center and cuts it off for out number 1. Ostrander flies out. Michael Carpentier now stands in. The left-handed batting catcher due up with 1 out, nobody on. Time to set the Rebels defensively. Jacob Sharp doing the catching once more. And a shakeup at first base with Kate Higgins doing the designated batting today. It's Rylan Charles sliding from center field to first base. Everybody else around the infield the same. Braden Murphy at second, Paul Myro the fourth at short, and E. Darian Williams at the hot corner at third. Beal spots a fastball outside for ball 1 to the left-handed batting Carpentier. And the outfield for UNLV, Austin Krizik in left, Alex Pimentel already in the scoreboard in center. And Jason Sharman makes his 5th start of the year in right field. Ground ball left side, splitting Williams and Myro into left. As Carpentier singles to the left side of the infield to get this offense started. He was 2 for 4, reached in base in 4 different plate appearances yesterday. Carpentier on first. Mitchell Simon now due in. Right-handed batting third baseman steps up with 1 out, 1 on. Beal looking for a ground ball.
Yeah, after a disappointing start to the 3-game series last night, Rebels are going to be relying on Beal to make sure that they're shutting down the really hot-hitting Lancers from California Baptist.
First pitch swinging is Simon. Levels one high in the air down the left field side in foul territory. The left fielder Krizik watches it bounce into the bullpen on the left field end.
But that's the beauty of baseball, right? Especially a 3-game series. You know, kind of lay an egg on Friday night. You still have a chance to win 2 games and win the series and come out of the weekend feeling really good about yourself.
And they're hoping that Beal can be the stopper. With the offense rolling early for California Baptist, they jumped out to a 3-0 lead through 3 innings and never looked back. Rebels plating a run in the 3rd inning and the 9th inning, but that was it. Pitch down and inside to Simon, evens up the count at 1-1. Beal with a fastball, a slider, and a changeup in the arsenal. Heater will sit anywhere from 92 to 94. He typically holds that velocity into the later innings. Carpentier off first, the 1-1 to Simon. Down and in, backing him away on the fastball for ball 2.
Yeah, like you said, that velocity, he doesn't seem to tire. He's a big kid, big, strong kid. Been doing this for a few years, starting for the Rebels. You just need some consistency out of him today.
Beal out of the stretch on 2-1. Simon waves and misses at the slider. First breaking pitch that Beal has thrown, and that was a good one.
That's the pitch repertoire that he has. He needs to use that cutter, use that slider a little bit more, not rely so much on the fastball to be timed up by the batter.
2-ball, 2-strike delivery. Simon hits it off the hands into left field. Coming in is Krizik. Still on the move as the left fielder. He slides and it bounces. Safe at first is Simon on a base hit. And Krizik, who typically is shaded deep, gave it everything he had, and the slide at the last moment, not enough. Carpentier and Simon with back-to-back singles. 2 on, 1 out in the first for Dusty Garcia.
Not a particularly hard hit ball by Simon there, but was able to carry enough. But Krizik coming in on the run. He usually gets down a little bit earlier on that, but not able to come up with that one.
So Carpentier advancing up 90 feet. Shortstop Myro keeping an eye on him. It's Dusty Garcia, left-handed batting right fielder. Takes a first pitch fastball just downstairs for ball 1. It's Michael Goebel calling balls and strikes behind home plate. Anthony Prater down the first base side. It's Kirk Struble at second. And big man Scott Jones down the third baseline. Quartet of officials this afternoon. Here's the overhand curveball for Noah Beal. Don't see that one that often, especially early in outings, but he drops it for a called strike.
If he can get that thing working early in the ball game, he's going to be really tough to hit, keep the batters off balance.
Counts even at 1. Pitch outside to Garcia for ball 2.
That's exactly where Sharpie wanted it, though. He gave Beal a little head nod in affirmation there, so they're on the same page right now. 2-1, runners on. We got to get a good pitch here.
Garcia 1 of 5 yesterday with a 2-run home run in the 3rd. Drives this one well to left center field. Back goes Pimentel. Center fielder just shy of the warning track, turns around, reaches up and makes the catch for the out. Meanwhile, both runners tagging. Advancing from second to third is Carpentier. Pimentel's throw goes to Murphy at second, so no advancement for Simon. So Garcia flies out. Both outs have been recorded by Pimentel in the first. Runners on the corners for Jake Skipworth, the first baseman.
That's a veteran play by Pimentel, who hasn't played a lot in center field for the Rebs this year. Ball hit deep into the left center gap on the warning track. Getting that ball into second keeps another runner out of scoring position. He's not going to make that throw and get an out at third. So good heads-up play by Pimentel in center.
Skipworth was hitless yesterday, but he was hit by 2 pitches in 2 separate at-bats. Waves and misses over a breaking ball to start out his afternoon at the plate today for strike 1. 284 batter with 4 home runs, 22 driven in. And he's a big body, 6'4", 240. Former Cal Golden Bear with a slightly open stance. A one from Beal, that fastball elevated, cut on and missed, and it's quickly 0-2.
That's a great challenge by Beal right there. He says, I'm bringing it up, ball up. Not able to catch up with that on that fastball, probably right around the 93, 94 mile an hour mark. Now is what it's going to be interesting, because where Beal has struggled at times this year, being ahead in the count, it's with runners in scoring position.
Beal set at the belt. Here's the 0-2 to Skipworth. Swung on, fouled straight back. Skipworth just able to stay alive, but Beal had him fooled.
Yeah, I like that pitch, that slider away. Really made him reach across the plate to get to that. So I would expect something from a breaking ball standpoint coming again.
Count still 0-2 as Beal takes the sign from Sharp. The right-hander kicks, he deals. Swung on, fouled back again. Skipworth able to stay alive. That time another elevated heater.
Yeah, challenged him again with the fastball. So Beal, he's a confidence type guy. If he feels confident about that fastball, he's going to continue to bring that.
He's been going back to the well, but there's plenty of room to work with here on 0-2. Carpentier off third, Mitchell Simon with the short lead off first. Another 0-2, this one bounced in the dirt. Runner breaking as soon as it left the hand. No stolen base for Simon on a ball in the dirt. Moving up to second with 2 runners in scoring position and a 1-2 count against Jake Skipworth. Well, he did not get hit yesterday. He grounded out and popped out twice. Beal's 1-2 pitch. Swung on and rolled over foul on the third base side. That's where the skipper Gary Adcock hangs out. His 19th year at the helm of the program. California Baptist elevating up to the Division I level during his tenure. It started in 2004.
He's done an outstanding job.
One of the premier programs now on the West Coast. Another 1-2 offering. Skipworth rolls it over foul again. That time, just kind of a hands out, backside out, to desperate swing in defense.
Yeah, I think he was thinking fastball there. So that slider's coming across. He's just trying to get the bat out there and try to get something foul off and stay alive.
You could hear the difference there. That thing was barely tipped off the end. Beal battling with Skipworth. Here he comes to the plate on 1-2 again. Skipworth fouls another pitch off, this time into his own dugout on the third base side.
Well, Skipworth doing a good job right now, just trying to foul some stuff off way behind in the account, staying alive, try to get some runners cross for the Lancers in the first inning. 2 out, 2 on, still scoreless in the top of the first. Beal's 1-2 is upstairs. Skipworth bending out of the way of that heater. And this one elevated. No longer a battle, but a war between Beal and Skipworth here in the first. Beal's coming off a 5-inning outing at Fresno, San Jose State in his last time out. Ground ball left side, picked up by the shortstop Myro. Long throw across the diamond in time to first base. Beal allows a couple of base runners, but strands them both on. And we're scoreless heading into the bottom of the first inning. Alex Pimentel to lead off against Spencer Bengard and California Baptist in the bottom of the first inning next.
Rebel fans, food and beverages are available for purchase at the Smokin' Sam's concession stand. And don't miss out on $5 margaritas this afternoon while supplies last. UNLV Baseball wants to thank Smokin' Sam's for their support of the program.
UNLV bats for the first time here in the bottom of the first inning. Noah Beal stranding 2 base runners on, allow the 2 base hits with 1 out. Got to pop out and the ground out to follow. And it gives the Hustlin' Rebels an opportunity in a tied up ball game early. Spencer Bengard getting the start for California Baptist today. The 6'4", 220-pound junior out of Moreno Valley, California, making his 10th start and 15th appearance of the year. Big-bodied right-hander is 3-1 with a 5.55 earned run average. Struck out 43 batters over 47 innings on the year, allowing a 280 average against. Rebels leading off with Alex Pimentel, the center fielder, followed by Rylan Charles, the first baseman. Definitely a unique defensive alignment today with both center fielders realistically at the top of the lineup, but it's Pimentel, the table setter today.
Yeah, Pim's been the only guy last night with multiple hits for the Hustlin' Rebels, so you got to kind of ride that horse sometimes when you got somebody rolling like this, and he's a thoroughbred, so we're going to look for him to get things started for the Rebels.
Pimentel batted 6th and DH'd yesterday. Swings and misses at a fastball blown by him by Bengard, and we're underway in the scoreless bottom of the first inning. Pimentel in his first year in the Scarlet and Gray, batting .364. Rewarded with the top, start at the top of the lineup. Takes that fastball up and away for strike 2. Bengard dotting the top of the zone here early. Pimentel second on the team in RBIs with 30, trailing only Paul Myro, who's got 33 on the campaign. Slider down and outside, blocked by the catcher, Michael Ostrander.
Bengard, a 6'4", 220-pound pitcher. The staff for CBU they're throwing out here so far against the Rebels, I mean, that's a football roster almost.
Pimentel fights this one off. Carpentier, the catcher, watching that one go by. Carpentier filling up the battery with Jake Skipworth playing at first. Mitchell Simon across the diamond from him at third. Josh Payton, the shortstop. Connor McGuire, his partner up the middle at second. Pimentel takes that fastball in there for strike 3 over the inside. He can't believe it. Trying to lean the hips in. But Michael Goebel rings him up. And that's the first strikeout for Bengard. That's number 44 on the year. And nothing the Rebels aren't used to after striking out 16 times yesterday.
Yeah, Rocha got the first 6 Rebel batters last night on strikeouts, so hope to kind of bend that trend right now.
Rylan Charles takes a strike on a fastball over the outside from Bengard. He's a big body, well put together right-hander that throws with some velocity. Deals out of the full windup on 0-1. Charles waves and misses at a pitch in the dirt, so Bengard already picking up where Rocha left off in the start yesterday.
Yeah, 16 strikeouts for the Rebels. That's not going to work in any box score that you look across. So, got to do our best to get the bats on the ball.
This one put in play, diving by the second baseman McGuire. He gets a piece of it, but it rolls into shallow right center field. Charles will be given credit for a base hit. That one, a well-hit ball. McGuire with the definition of an extraordinary effort there to keep it in front.
Absolutely, and with Ryland's speed, he probably would end up on second base because that ball might have got to the gap right there. But a good piece of hitting, 0-2 for Charles. We talked about it last night, right? Just get the bat on the ball. Good things happen when the ball gets into play.
So after a 3 strikeout first yesterday, Jacob Sharp stands in 1 out, 1 on today. A slider through the top of the zone for Bengard's in for a called strike 1. Sharp has firmly supplanted himself in the 3 spot in the lineup. Finished 1 for 4 with a run scored in the bottom of the 9th inning yesterday in the 9-2 loss. Bengard pitching from the stretch for the first time. Drops a curveball right down the middle for a called strike 2. He's been getting ahead of everybody thus far here early.
Looks like we got a little different strike zone than we had last night. It seemed to be a little tight last night. This one seems to be a little more expanded.
The wind blowing straight in, should see a lot of balls put in play, given that fact. Skipworth holding on as Pimentel leads off first. Rather, Rylan Charles. And a pitch out. With Charles not moving, will move the count to 1-2.
You know, that is a scouting situation right there. You got to give credit to Adcock and the Lancers. This is a pitch count 1-2. It's almost automatic hit and run for Coach Higgins in this situation.
Charles with a good size lead off first. He stays as that fastball's over the outside for a called strike 3. Only 2 outs here in the bottom of the first inning have been via the backwards K. Pimentel and Sharp down on strikes. Charles off first with 2 outs for Edarian Williams.
Williams had a rough night last night. 3 strikeouts to start out the game. He did put the ball in play his last at bat, but hitting in this cleanup spot right now, Darian's got to find the zone.
Big throw goes to first base. Charles back in ahead of it head first. And for Edarian Williams, we've said it when he starts to slump. It's just a matter of trying too hard.
Yeah, he's a great hitter. He's been an absolute fantastic player for the Rebels over the years. Just got to put the ball in play, shorten up a little bit.
Slices this one in the air, fading down the right field side and dropping out of play. For a called strike one to Williams, who's 308 average, still well above average. But by his standards, that's a low mark.
Yeah, and that's, it's a standard that we're holding him to, right? He's been that way for us for 3 years now, 4 years actually, getting into his 5th year here. He's got to put the ball, shorten up a little bit in this situation. Oh,
Charles caught leaning, picked off at first base. Bengard paused for just an extra half a second. Charles took one step too many, and he's picked off. Scored 1-3 on the putout. So the Rebels down in order. Darian Williams will have a new set of balls and strikes when he bats in the bottom of the second. But first, top of the second coming up, still scoreless between the Lancers and the Hustlin' Rebels.
Hey fans, with a Contour Sports app from Cox, you can watch a game live and track multiple games at once, all right there on your TV. The Sports app is part of the new Contour from Cox. Hurry to a Cox Solutions store or visit cox.com/Contour to learn more. That's the Contour Sports app from Cox.
One more time before I go. Higher powers taking hold on me. Strength and guidance, all that I'm wishing for my friends. Nobody makes it from my ends. I had to bust up the silence. You know you gotta stick by me. Soon as you see the
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. Now playing third base for UNLV is number 6, Noah Rodriguez. And leading off the second for the Lancers in the 6th hole, designated hitter number 12, Cole Howard.
Go, Cole. Go, Cole. Still no score in the top of the second inning between UNLV and California Baptist. Middle game out of a 3-game set. Big body DH Cole Howard then to lead things off against Noah Beal. Beal needed 24 pitches to get through a scoreless first. Howard, it's the first one of the second in the air, deep to right. Sharman going back. This one's off the wall about halfway up and bouncing back towards right field. Howard in at second with a leadoff stand-up double. And Sharman's throw goes all the way through the cutoff man. 6th bagger of the year for Cole Howard. Leads off the second against Noah Beal, who stranded a pair of hits on in the second inning. So the runner in scoring position for Josh Pano, who's in for the first time. Also in for the first time this weekend, new third baseman Noah Rodriguez. Darian Williams was batting when Ryland Charles picked off to end the first inning. And almost immediately, Rodriguez had jogged out defensively to go play third base. Something to keep an eye on as Pano's had 1 ball, no strikes, takes that fastball over the inside.
On that last hit right there, Josh was playing a little shallow and right, and that ball just continued to carry and tailed away from him a little bit. Got to the Miller light sign out. The outfield, as this one's hit down the right field line, it's going to.
Armin back and watches it bounce foul. Definitely to your point.
Yeah.
Playing a little shallow there as well.
He was, and the MO for this ballpark is as the wind keeps blowing a little bit, and it's kind of blowing a little bit towards right now, a little in, but more towards right. The heat starts to pick up here too, so we're going to be right in the low 80s, and the ball's going to carry a little bit more, so we got to adjust in the outfield for that.
Still beautiful weather for this time of year here in Vegas.
This is spring. This is why we live here.
78 degrees at the time of first pitch. Can't ask for much more this time of year. Squaring to bunt is Pano. Pulls it back on a fastball that misses high. Sharp came up ready to fire to second, but nobody covering between Murphy and Myro. 2 balls and a strike to Pano. Shortstop batting 7th today. .269 hitter on the year. 5 home runs, 21 batted in, including an RBI on a triple off the top of the fence yesterday. Bunts this one down the first base side. Picked up by Ryland Charles right in front of the bag. He'll take 2 shuffles backwards and retire Pano. Score that a sacrifice 3 unassisted on the bunt as Howard advances from second to third. Game's first run 90 feet away with 1 out. And it's up to Nick Dumanil to try and bring him in.
Outstanding at bat by Pano there. Advanced that run over to scoring position with 1 out here. Lancers looking to get something on the board here early.
Unique story for Nick Dumanil as he waves and misses at a curveball for strike 1. Playing in just his 3rd game of the year today. In fact, all 3 of his appearances have been this week. He blew the red shirt on Tuesday when he made his season debut against UC Riverside and has recorded multiple hits in each of his 2 games. Howarth broke from third base. The pitch was outside. Now it's Sharp firing to Rodriguez. Rodriguez to the pitcher, Beal covering at the plate. What was that for the out?
I don't know if that was going to be a safety squeeze there. It was hard because he broke off third base but stopped. Got halfway down. That ball was way outside. There was no chance for the batter to get the bat on the ball. Sharpie did a good job of getting over in front of that one and retire him pretty easy.
That was weird. Scored 2-5-1 on the putout. Now Dumino waves and misses at a slider outside, and that's how the inning ends. So a double, a sac bunt, a runner put out on the base pass, and a swinging strikeout. Just your average run-of-the-mill 1-2-3 top of the second for Noah Beal. No runs on a hit, no errors, nobody left on. Darian Williams is spot in the lineup to lead off in the bottom of the second inning. It'll be Noah Rodriguez hitting when we return. Still scoreless between the Rebels and the Lancers.
The official health partner of UNLV Athletics. Today they want to ask you all a simple question. Are you a registered organ donor? You have the power to potentially save a life of someone in need when you become an organ donor. Learn more at intermountainhealthcare.org/donate-life.
Why all the way up the top?
Someone just ran to the clubhouse or something. There comes Rodriguez right now from the clubhouse. Where'd he go? He's still there.
Leading off the second for UNLV, the third baseman, number 6, Noah Rodriguez.
Still scoreless between UNLV and California Baptist as Noah Rodriguez steps to the plate for the first time, making his 15th appearance of the year. Came in as a defensive replacement, and during the half-inning break, you may have noticed we were gone for a little bit longer. Rodriguez nowhere to be found. We saw him jogging in from the right field home side clubhouse. Now the officials meeting between the mound and the plate. Could they be discussing the new pitch clock in college baseball and potentially issuing him an auto strike to start?
Yeah, Lancers head coach Adcock came out and had a conversation with the umpires. Rodriguez went all the way from third base on a beeline to the clubhouse and then came jogging out. So I don't know if he, probably not expecting to be inserted this early in the game. He didn't have any of his gear, but he came back. It didn't look like he was holding a bat.
No.
I don't see any Evo shield that he's put on. I don't know what the situation is.
So already a unique game with a couple of outs on the base pass. And Rodriguez inserted early in the game as a defensive replacement for Darian Williams. So the at-bat starts out 0-0, and the first pitch is high. Finally underway in the bottom of the second inning. Rodriguez, a nice addition to the lineup in the middle of the season. He's done a lot of things well to the tune of a .318 average and 22 at-bats. Swings and fouls this pitch back into the mid, and the count goes 1-1. He's got 2 doubles and a triple among those 7 hits as well.
Did a really good job at the Loyola Marymount 2-game tilt that we had 2 weeks ago. Got inserted in the lineup and took advantage of it for a lot of his fans because he's from that area. So as we were watching the game, there was a lot of people in the stands that was really rooting on Roddy.
What do you know about La Habra? That's the hometown. A pitch outside for ball 2.
it's a good baseball area, and we get a lot of. They got good JC ball down there. You know, Cal Baptist, they actually recruit that area really hard. You know, we talked about it last night. All but 2 on the Lancers lineup come from California.
Count remains 2-2 as Rodriguez, who's a tough out, fights another pitch off. It's the one thing you never know with true freshmen what you're going to get when they get inserted into the lineup. Sometimes the nerves and the jitters too much, but really have not seen that much this year from Rodriguez as a whole. So he puts this one in play, a slicer to right field, coming in and then back was the right fielder Garcia. He's able to glove it at the chest for the out. So after all that, Rodriguez flies out to begin the second.
Yeah, it's one of those games. Sometimes we saw him earlier in the year. We had the 31 runs that were scored. We had some games that had some really weird happenings in, and we've kind of started that this Saturday the same way.
No batting gloves for Austin Krizik as the outfielder takes a first pitch fastball upstairs for ball 1. Kriz hitting .277, 3 bombs, 23 batted in. Batted in the 2 slot yesterday. Doubled to lead off the 6th inning for his only hit. He was stranded on second when the next 3 batters all recorded putouts. Swings and comes up empty to even up the count at 1. Spencer Bengard with a couple of Ks already. Tyree, the only batter to reach base against him pretty quickly. Picking off Charles to end the first. It's Krizik to swing and miss at strike 2 here. Meanwhile, for Noah Beal, able to get through the second in a 1-2-3 fashion, even though gave up a leadoff double off the top of the fence. No one's outside to Krizik, and the count all square at 2-2.
We talked about the zone being a little bit different from what we saw last night. We have the advantage of having TrackMan here, so we can see what the pitches are and where they're at from a location. And yeah, that ball's fouled out of play by Krizik to keep it 2-2. The zone's widened today, right? And we're seeing that and getting about 4 inches more play. But for today's home plate umpire, Michael Goebel, excuse me. So it's going to, that ball swung on a miss, a curve ball. Misses over the top for the second out of the inning. But going back to that wider zone, this is situations where, you know, Krizik and other batters are going to be talking about that in the dugout, right? You got to be talking about, hey, this zone is expanded, so we can't be as choosy.
Rebels did work a lot of pitches yesterday, but with 2 outs, nobody on here in the second. Taking a ball downstairs is Cade Higgins, designated hitter, standing in for the first time this afternoon. Higgins, a .292 batter with 4 home runs and 16 batted in here in his first season with his hometown program. He crushes this one high in the air, deep to right field. It's got a chance. Back goes Garcia. This one's out of here. Cade Higgins gives the Rebels the lead in the bottom of the second inning on his 5th home run of the year.
That ball right there was absolutely crushed over the 335 mark out there in right field. Talking to Higgy last night a little bit, he's been really disappointed with the way that he's been performing at the plate lately. So hopefully that's something right there that not only is going to kickstart him, but the rest of the Rebel lineup.
Higgins drives in the Southern Nevada Toyota Dealers Association first home run of the game, and it gives the Rebels a lead, their first of the weekend. And that brings up Braden Murphy with the bases empty and a run across in the second inning. Another left-handed batter who puts this one in play down the left field side with some pop. Going back is Ostrander. Left fielder takes a dive but comes up empty. Man, he gave it everything he had on the effort, but it drops as a foul ball for Murph.
Yeah, great attempt by the left fielder Ostrander right there. The ball ended up about 2 feet foul. That ball lands safely in fair play. That's going to be multiple bases for Murphy.
He was shaded pretty shallow against the left-hand hitter. Not too often you see an outfielder on a ball down the line turn and go completely towards the fence. You don't normally see both numbers on the back facing you in the press box.
No, but one heck of an effort by the left fielder for the Lancers.
So Murphy now behind 0-2. Getting a lot of the starts at second base towards the back half of the season. Singled and scored in the 3rd yesterday. Was put out 3 times, including a ground out, a fly out, and a strikeout following in yesterday's loss. The 0-2 from Bengard, just off the outside. Catcher Carpentier trying to frame that one back up, but the zone not that wide this afternoon.
No, that ball a little bit elevated too, so good 2-strike pitch right there.
The 1-2 to Murphy. Fouled off down the third base side, and he stays alive.
And Murph's been streaky for the Hustling Rebels this year. He's gone through some good stretches with some good at-bats. In the last few games, he's been struggling a little bit, but he has the ability to jump right back in this thing and get hot again.
Power bat from the left side to be sure. It's this one off the end of the mat, a three-hop bouncer to the second baseman McGuire, whose throw to first is in time. But Kate Higgins puts the Rebels on the board in the bottom of the second inning. A solo shot with 2 outs is his 5th of the year, and after 2 innings full, it's UNLV 1, California Baptist nothing.
All right, fans, it's time for Rebel Baseball Trivia. So take a look at the video board for today's question. The question is, how many runs does a Grand Slam drive in? And all of you should know this one. If you think you know the answer, head over to the marketing table to submit your answer, and we'll select a lucky winner later in the game. Batting ninth for California Baptist, second baseman number 6, Connor McGuire.
Let's go, Connor!
Let's go, Connor.
Get your feet on the base, Connor.
Let's go, Connor.
UNLV on top, 1-0 entering into the top of the third. Connor McGuire to lead things off for California Baptist. Noah Beal, so far so good through 2 innings. Starts the third with a pitch just in off the elbow of McGuire for ball 1. Second baseman to lead things off, followed by the leadoff man Ostrander. The left fielder followed by the catcher Carpentier. You're in the top of the third inning with the Rebels on top 1-0. McGuire swings and grounds this one softly to short, picked up by Paul Myro, whose sidearm sling to Charles at first is in time. Scored 6-3 on the scorecard at home for the leadoff out of the third inning. So far so good. The first time through the lineup for Noah Beal. Allowed 3 hits, struck a batter out. Got a sacrifice hit in that stretch as well. And as Garrett Ostrander stands in for the second time, you got to like what you've seen from Beal so far.
Oh, absolutely. This is exactly what we need from
Garrett, start us off.
the big right-hander. Let's come in and set yourself, get some pace going, establish control, keep the ball down, and
Ostrander bunts one down the third base side. Charging is Rodriguez. Third baseman bounces it to first. Charles scoops it for the out.
that's one heck of a play by Rylan Charles at first, who's only playing in his 3rd game this season at first base. That short hop right there by the lefty, that's an outstanding veteran play. Rylan did play first base in high school, but hasn't done that much in his career here at UNLV.
You got 2 guys somewhat playing out of position. Rodriguez normally a second baseman. Charles obviously normally the center fielder. But they made it work from both sides of the corners for the second out of the inning. Here's Carpentier from the left, swinging at the first pitch and slicing it out of play down the left field side. 0-1 the count.
We were looking at some TrackMan numbers on that home run by Higgins there. Left the bat at 107 miles an hour and traveled 390 feet.
He smoked it for sure.
And to your point, we're talking off air. Really, that ball was kind of hit off the hands, but that's a big, strong lefty that's able to pull that ball down the line there. His balls get up in the air, and they have the backspin, and they just travel.
Yeah, 33-degree launch angle is nothing to scoff at. That thing was a sky ball that cleared the fence and right. Fastball elevated for a called strike 2, and Carpentier, who singled in the first, falls behind the ball and 2 strikes here in the third. Beal trying to zoom through a second 1-2-3 inning here in the third. Takes the sign from Sharp. Comes set. Is 1-2 pitch. Just upstairs on the fastball.
That's a good pitch, though. Just outside the zone, trying to find that wide zone strike. Didn't get the call there, but I like the pitch count. Now we're 2s across.
Beal trying to keep his pitch count limited. Here's the 2-2 delivery. Breaking ball. Tumbling through the zone, but taken in the dirt. Good take there by Carpentier to move the count full at 3-2. That's a pitch for Beal that starts in the zone and breaks outward. He was expecting a swing and a miss.
It gets on that back foot from a left-handed hitter. It's hard to hit.
Here's the payoff pitch on 3-2. Just upstairs. Beal thought he had the strikeout. Had the strut going towards first base, but instead Carpentier works his way on for the second time in as many plate appearances.
At the plate, third baseman number
Mitchell
1,
Simon now a true power bat from the right side to hit with 2 out and the tying run on first base. Simon with the team and Western Athletic Conference leading 14 home runs on the year Although he was held in check yesterday, 0 for 5 with a couple of Ks in the win. Takes that slider way outside. Good job by Sharp to contort his body over in front to stop it. One thing that we noticed yesterday when watching Simon, Dan, was he doesn't get cheated on any swing. When he goes, he goes.
Yeah, he's committed.
Rests the bat on the right shoulder. High leg kick. Lofts a soft line drive over the head of Myro into left center for a base hit. Scooped up in center field by Pimentel. The throw goes to the cutoff man. Carpentier and Simon reaching back to back for the second time in the game. Twosome 3 for 3 with the walk through 2 plate appearances each. Now with 2 on and 2 down, Dusty Garcia looks to extend the inning.
Rebels leading 1-0 here in that 1-run lead. Here in the top of the third, Beal got ahead, got those first 2 outs, end up walking and giving up that single. So now we got runners in scoring position. Lancer's looking to take advantage of that at this point.
Garcia takes a bending curveball right down Broadway for strike 1. That was a pitch reminiscent of Liam Rocha yesterday. He threw a ton of those curveballs that started up but broke into the zone.
And that's a good breaking ball from Beal, but the one we saw from Rocha last night was absolutely fantastic.
Beal goes with the fastball. Cut on and missed by Garcia, and he's ahead 0-2. Now, traditionally today, at least, Beal's been throwing the elevated heater on 0-2. Would you expect to see it here?
I'd like to see something low and away.
Sharp sets up in the top of the zone. The 0-2 pitch from Beal. It's the elevated fastball. A little too elevated and off the plate as well. Garcia didn't oblige in the count 1-2.
The runner on second base, too. He's trying to pick up anything he can. With Sharpie setting up tall like that, there may actually be some type of indication to the batter of what's coming.
Beal's 1-2. Curveball just high for ball 2.
Sometimes it's kind of those hidden things that the runners will do to help their batters, which is either a stance or the position of their hands to kind of let them know what's coming. You're not going to pick very much up off of the signal to the pitcher, but it could be the stance from the catcher.
Count even at 2. Beal takes a look at second, throws to first. Actually, he held it. They're going to call a balk. I thought it was a unique jump from Beal there as they tried to backpick the runner Simon at first base, but with the balk, Carpentier up to third, Simon up to second. Now Beal's focus renewed on the batter Garcia.
2 outs here. Just concentrate on the batter. Let's get out of this.
Beal's 1 pitch away. The 2-2. Curveball just outside for ball 4. And Beal working all around the strike zone with that curveball, but Garcia takes a called ball 4 to load the bases here in the third, with UNLV still leading by the slimmest of margins.
We talked about it last night. Lancers were able to score quite a few runs.
I think Garcia baited everybody. It was a 2-2 pitch.
Yeah, it
not
was
a
a
3-2
2-2 pitch.
Okay, he fooled me at least. He had jogged down to first. He looked uber confident.
Yeah, the scoreboard's got it right.
Scoreboard's got it right at 3-2. Garcia swings and misses at strike 3. What a turn of events as Garcia thought he had ball 4. Instead, strikes out swinging on the next pitch. Beal strands another pair of base runners on. And as we enter into the bottom of the third, UNLV still leads 1-0.
Rebel fans, season tickets for the 2023-24 season for both men's and women's basketball are now on sale. Be sure to renew yours today or get new season tickets starting at just $115 for your Running Rebels and $75 for your Lady Rebels. For more info, visit UNLVtickets.com.
UNLV Baseball is presented by Parkway Tavern, official partner of UNLV Athletics and your official home of Rebels on the road. With over 250 beers, 24/7 gaming, and now 5 Valley locations, there's no better place to catch the game than Parkway Tavern. Along with Dan Dolby, I'm Matt Neverett, bringing you today's action from Earl E. Wilson Stadium. It's UNLV leading California Baptist 1-0. And as we enter into the bottom of the third, 8, 9, and 1. 2 up for the first time for UNLV. It'll be Myro, followed by Jason Sharman and Alex Pimentel. First 3 batters against Spencer Bengard, who's allowed 2 hits, one of them the big fly by Cade Higgins in the second. That's been the only difference in the game so far. Myro in from the right, swinging and missing at a slider, and we're underway in the bottom of the third. How about Noah Beal mitigating his way in and out of damage through 3 innings, stranding both Carpentier and Simon on in the first and the third.
Yeah, talking off air, got some base runners that he's given up this year as Myro slams that one back over the right field backstop. The thing about Beal is, because he's been a veteran here, right? He's seen these situations. He's been able to fight back through that and keep zeros on the board.
Beal 2 to Myro, down and away on the fastball from Bengard. Yeah, Beal has allowed a base hit in every inning at least, including 2 in the first. He's stranded 2 runners on in the first and the third inning. So he's done a good job of tightrope walking his way out of a couple of jams. Myro takes down, and the count goes even at 2-2. Paul Myro the 4th, hometown product, playing for the Scarlet and Gray for the first year. The Oregon State transfer, batting .283, 4 home runs, and a team-leading 33 RBIs. Lifts the hands over that fastball, and the count goes full at 3-2 to lead off the third.
Myro's little brother Gunnar is committed to play for the Rebels next year. Catcher, but he's also a pretty good kicker playing for Bishop Gorman.
Myro bounces this one up the middle, heading to his left as a shortstop. Pano, he dives, knocks it down, and that'll be it as Myro reaches. He was the only Rebel to not strike out yesterday. He continues that stretch today. The infield base hit knocked down by Pano, and the leadoff man on for the first time today.
That ball not hit too hard right there, but Pano made a good attempt to get over behind the bag at second base there. Dove for it, just not able to come up with that. But Myro, getting that leadoff batter has been really beneficial for the Rebels this season.
Rounding out the lineup is Jason Sharman. Puts a good bunt down the third base side. Mitchell Simon to field. And the third baseman lasers one across to first in time. But doing the job, as they say, is Jason Sharman. The sacrifice bunt going 5-3 on the putout. Advancing Myro up to second. And if any indication from yesterday's game, every base runner advancing 90 feet is big. Runner in scoring position now for the top of the lineup and Alex Pimentel.
Absolutely. If you watch Sharman after he got that bunt down, thrown out at first, the excitement in his face. He hadn't had a lot of chances to start for the Rebels over the years. So he's taking advantage of that, and more importantly, he's having fun.
First pitch outside to Pimentel. And for a guy like Sharman, who's just trying to play his way into the lineup, those little things really do start to add up.
Absolutely. He's coming to the end of his career. This is his last year with the Rebels. He's trying to take advantage of every chance he gets.
Pimentel ahead 1-0. Now 2-0 as Bengard bounces a fastball in the dirt. Got Pimentel on a called strike 3 to begin the bottom of the first inning. He dealt the fastball in on the hands. Really haven't seen him go back to that pitch since.
No, he's been pitching away from the right-handed batters for the most part since that point.
2-0 out of the stretch.
There it is.
There's the heater in on the hands, but it's called for ball 3. Bengard, not a traditional release point. Definitely does not come from straight over the top. Kind of a low 3/4 arm slot, almost across the body. You'll notice when he comes set, he puts the left foot almost crossed in front of the right foot, pointing more towards his own third base dugout. 3-0. Bisects home plate in half as Pimentel nods in agreement, takes a called strike 1. Still in a good hitter's count as Alex Pimentel. Off of second is Myro. Infield base hit up the middle to lead off the inning. 3-1 breaking ball. Cuts in over the inside. That's a really confident pitch on 3-1 from Bengard.
Yeah, that ball started on the hands of Pimentel. Froze him there. The ball works back across the plate for another called strike to take it full.
Second full count of the inning. As Pimentel fights it off the hands, fouls it straight back to stay alive. A lot to like about Alex Pimentel, and he's a guy that you hope that you could keep in the program. Played for 3 years at Long Beach State, originally from Anaheim. Played in the Northwoods League for his summer ball. You don't typically see West Coast guys go up and play in the Midwest in the summers. That one's lined on a plate on the right field side again.
Yeah, and if you get to know him a little bit, he's just an outstanding young man. Doesn't say a heck of a lot. Really just kind of tries to lead by example. Let the play kind of speak for himself. And, there's a lot of respect for a guy like that in the clubhouse.
Here's another 3-2 pitch. Down low, ball 4. Skipping just off to the left of the catcher, Carpentier. He keeps it close by, keeping Myro at second. Pimentel down to first. 2 on, 1 out here in the bottom of the third. Ryland Charles looking to expand on the 1-0 lead. Back to Pimentel, you talk about a quiet confidence about him. That's kind of the words I would use to describe. Unless you bring up a running race with Ryland Charles, in which case that quiet part of it goes away.
We have a stake. I shouldn't say that. We have a little bit of a wager on who wins that.
This one's lined to left center field. That's down. Myro zooming around third. He'll score easily. Throw goes to second base. Advancing from first to third is Pimentel on an RBI single from Ryland Charles. He's 2 for 2 on his 30th RBI of the year. The Rebels jump ahead 2-0.
First pitch swinging there for Charles. All he does takes the ball the opposite way. We talked about the speed of Pimentel. He was able to get on a ball that wasn't hit relatively very hard into the outfield, all the way from first to third, using that speed we were talking about.
So runners on the corners with 1 out for Jacob Sharp. So the catcher due up with runners on the corners. It's Pimentel on third, Charles on first, and there's the 2 guys who think that they're faster than the other.
Well, I tell you what, Pimentel, for being as quiet as he is, he's pretty confident he's going to beat Ryland Charles in that 60-yard race there.
Jacob Sharp 0 for 1 so far. Takes the first pitch outside on a slider. Yeah, the 60-yard dash used in baseball showcases always has been, probably always will be as a mark of speed. I always thought it was interesting because you're never running 60 yards in a straight line.
I've never understood that.
But that's been the standard. You know, I guess 30 yards isn't enough. They want to see you get it into that extra gear.
Yeah, you know what? I kid Pimentel. I think there'd be a really even race, but I keep giving Pimentel. I think Charles has got you, brother.
I may have to televise that somehow because that would be the 2 biggest burners on the team going at it. Sharp checks the swing on a 2-0 slider. They appeal down to first. No, he did not, says Anthony Prater, the arbitrator down the line. During the at-bat, a handful of arms and catchers ran down the third base side, so the bullpen looks to get going for California Baptist. Double barrel action right away with a righty and a lefty getting loose. Meanwhile, the 3-0 to Jacob Sharp over the outside on a fastball for a called strike 1.
You got to be thinking Sharp is going to be looking for the fastball here. If he can sit on this little fastball that he's anticipating, he can drive that ball and really extend the lead for the Rebels here early, bottom of the third.
Prior to the 3-1, a snap throw goes down to first, and they fire it back to first.
Called play.
They were trying to see if they could get either Pimentel or Charles leaning. Yeah, Charles already picked off in the first inning. Neither of them successful, and so Spencer Bengar looks to come to the plate on a 3-1 offering. Takes the sign, comes set at the belt. The pitch. Swung on, grounded up the middle. Picked up by the second baseman, McGuire, whose only play is to first. Breaking on the pitch was Charles. Scored an RBI on a ground out for Jacob Sharp. It's ribby number 29 as Pimentel comes in to score. Charles advancing to second. Back-to-back RBIs give the Rebels a 3-0 lead for Noah Rodriguez, who stands in now.
Outstanding call by third base coach Kevin Higgins right there. If he's not getting Charles into motion, that's a routine double play, and the Lancers are out of this inning. But second base play was only to first with Pimentel easily scoring.
Noah Rodriguez takes a called strike 1 on his breaking ball. Bengar gets ahead of Rodriguez, who popped out to right field in his only plate appearance thus far.
At least he didn't have to rush to the plate.
No Rodriguez pause here in his second time up. It's a little cap shot dribbler down the first base side. The pitcher Bengard off the mound to make the play. He'll flip it to first himself, and the 1-3 putout retires this side on a 2-run inning for UNLV on 2 base hits, no errors, and a man left on. And through 3 innings full, it's the Rebels 3, the Lancers still with nothing.
Rebels fans, cheer on head coach Barry Odom and your UNLV Rebel football team at Allegiant Stadium this season with season tickets. Starting this fall, season tickets will include all 6 home games, including a non-conference showdown against Vanderbilt and the 9th Island Showdown against Hawaii. Visit UNLVtickets.com or call 702-739-FANS to get your tickets today.
Bigger, better, stronger.
off the fourth for CBU, the first baseman, number 26, Jake Skipworth.
Start us off, Jake. Start us off.
3-0 lead for UNLV after 3 innings full. Matt Neverett along with Dan Dolby from Earl E. Wilson Stadium. So far, so good for Noah Beal, who's gone through 3 scoreless innings on 4 hits. Jake Skipworth, the big-bodied first baseman, leads things off for California Baptist. Waves and misses over a first-pitch curveball from Noah Beal, who's struck out 2 batters so far. He's ended each of the last 2 innings with a K. Dumanil swinging to end the second, Fanned Garcia to end the third. This is inside here to move the count 1-1 against Jake Skipworth. Rebels finally starting to link some offense together in that bottom of the third inning. They sent 6 batters to the plate, recorded 2 runs on 2 hits, but they found other ways to move runners on and then over.
Yeah, with 4 hits here through 3, we're way ahead of where we were last night, and frankly, we were way ahead of where we were the entire last weekend against San Jose.
Skipworth takes that slider at the knees. Beal thought he had strike 3. Instead, the count goes even at 2.
It's a good pitch right there.
Beal set on 2-2. Here's the pitch to the leadoff man. Skipworth hits it off the end of the bat, past the diving third baseman into left field. And Rodriguez gave that one an effort, but it's the 5th hit of the day for California Baptist and the first of the game for Skipworth, his first of the series as well.
So again, starting out another inning with runners on. So Beal's been able to really kind of buckle down and get out of these innings without giving up any runs. He's going to have his work cut out for him here as come to a good part of the lineup for the Lancers.
Chase Howarth, the designated hitter, in from the right side. That's a tall drink of water. 6'6", 232 pounds. The Chino Hills, California native takes a pitch up from Beal, missing up over that 6'6" strike zone.
I tell you what, again, I kind of referenced the roster for a football team. I coached for 30 years. I would love to have this size in my lineup.
He's built like a tight end. It's a bending curveball through the bottom of the zone, called for ball 2.
And if you watch the Lancers, they're very fundamentally sound, right? They do have some power hitting, but they've also put the balls in play, just kind of taking it where the pitch gets across the plate for them. Play well in the outfield. If that ball comes across for a called strike, they're just a good team that doesn't commit a lot of errors, a lot of mental mistakes, and they'll grind you down.
They committed 1 error yesterday, but it was on an errant pickoff throw with Santino Panaro off first base.
Yeah, it.
Howard takes inside to move the count 3-1.
That was a situation last night too that, they were. I don't know the count on any type of double play situations that they had last night, but they're fundamentally sound and well coached.
Howard fights this pitch off. Foul ball goes straight back, and the count goes 3-2. Yeah, just taking a look at the scorebook from yesterday, the only issue was that there really weren't that many runners on overall in the game for UNLV, with 16 strikeouts out of 27 outs total. Runner off first. Here's the 3-2 pitch to Howarth. Just low on the breaking ball. Beal issues his second walk of the game. Puts 2 runners on with nobody out. He'll look for a ground ball off the bat of the shortstop, Josh Pano, who sacrificed on a bunt in his last time at bat. No official ABs on the day as Jacob Sharp goes up to have a word with Noah Beal.
Yeah, I think this is just a situation where Sharp is saying, hey, we got this. You're early. You're still strong. Just keep bringing it across the plate. He's missed low and away a couple times to the last couple batters, so going to be looking for him to try to find the zone again, try to get somebody to roll over on something, maybe get a double play, but Rebels are looking for outs right now with runners in scoring position.
Pano grounds the first pitch fouled on the third base side.
That ball did not miss by much.
Tell you what, runners on first and second, nobody out for a long time, especially at the collegiate level, was almost an automatic bunt situation, no sign needed. That's not quite the case anymore, but wouldn't be surprised to see Pano, who's already bunted today, to try it again. Behind 0-1. Pano doesn't square. Instead, he takes a beautiful looking breaking pitch just on the outside for strike 2. And I would be surprised to see Pano square to bunt at all.
You don't see that very often, but it's not uncommon, especially at the collegiate level, for somebody that is a good bunter to put one down with 2 strikes.
Especially when you get towards the bottom of the lineup. Instead, Pano levels this line drive into left field for a base hit. That gets past Krizik and rolls all the way to the wall. Scoring easily is Skipworth. Held up at third is Howarth. Pano in at second with an RBI double. That's the 6th two-bagger of the year. 22nd run batted in, and California Baptist on the board here in the 4th inning. It's a 3-1 ball game.
So we talked about Giving up that early hit.
Your attention, please. Pinch hitting for the Lancers, number 10, Matthew
As we
Daw.
have a pinch hitter rolling in right now, we'll get some information on. But giving up that hit to start the inning and that walk is the situation where you just can't put guys on and give them that free pass. Because now with 2 runners in scoring position, you know, the Lancers are a hit away from tying this ball game up.
It's Matthew Dar doing the pinch hitting. Dar wearing number 10, a 6-foot-tall junior out of Corona, California. Former Illinois State Cardinal, standing in from the right. Swings at the first pitch, twists one the other way on the ground. Murphy dives, he can't get it. 1 run scores. Holding up at third is Pano. It's misplayed by Sharman, and his throw goes straight through to second base. Scored an RBI on a pinch hit single for Matthew Dar, and both runs scored to tie the game at 3.
Now that's just kind of that seeing eye single right there. Got through the 4-hole. Murphy kind of shading towards second, wasn't able to get over there, and then Sharman misplays the ball that allows the second runner to score. We talked about that. They're 1 hit from tying up the game. No outs with the runner on first base.
So now Connor McGuire stands in. We're back where we started, all tied up. He squares to bunt, puts one down the third base side. Here comes Rodriguez. Third baseman bare hands. Low throw to first, picked out by Rylan Charles. Another sacrifice bunt with the putout going 5-3. Meanwhile, for Matt Dar, who singled, and the run for Pano scoring on what's charged as an error to the right fielder Sharman. As you mentioned, Sharman misplaying it. Pano was standing firmly on third base before Sharman didn't field it cleanly. So that's where the error comes from on the scoreboard. And with the go-ahead run on second base and only 1 out in the inning, all of a sudden back to the top of the lineup in Garrett Ostrander. First pitch to the right-handed batting left fielder, backs him away from the plate in the low 90s. Home for ball 1.
I go back to the comment and the conversation we were having about fundamental baseball by the Lancers. This has been an absolute great example of that. They've just put the ball into play. They've been choosy at the plate. Use the sacrifice that ball tumbles in for a called strike. You know, getting that bunt down, that, you know, you would think that that's easy to do, but when you got a pitcher like Beal who's got a 92-mile-an-hour fastball, but more importantly, he's got that bender that's hard to put the bunt down, but just a great piece of fundamental baseball from the Lancers.
Always tough to bunt the breaking stuff. There's a breaking pitch that's fouled off down the right field side. And the count goes a ball and 2 strikes to Ostrander, who's hitless so far today. Leadoff man is flied out to center and grounded out to third.
And this is a very good example of California baseball with all the players, for the most part, coming. Ball is
high bouncer under the glove of Myro. Charging is Krizik, rounding third and scoring with that. A throw is Dar, and the Lancers take a 4-3 lead. 4 straight base runners reaching and all scoring here in the 4th.
Yeah, that ball, 2 bouncer that took a big forward spin hop. Myro did get over there to get it. That's a situation right there. It's a tough play for Myro. You're not going to expect him to get that ball that deep in the hole and make the long throw, but you do need to knock the ball down. Get your body in front of that to keep that runner on third base.
So after Beal had been able to get his way out of damages in the first 3 innings, the wheels coming off in the 4th. Lancers lead. First pitch swinging on a foul ball is the catcher Carpentier. That one laced straight back, and it's 0-1.
Don't see any activity in the Rebel bullpen at this point. So this is Beal's inning to get through.
Trying to get him through 4 is the coaching staff. Foul ball and a check swing goes into the third base visiting side dugout, and it's quickly 0-2. This is a big pitch here for Beal. I would expect him to be a little bit closer to the zone given the way this inning is gone with just 1 out and 4 runs across already. See how aggressive he is to Carpentier. He's reached base twice today. The 0-2, that's the changeup outside. Carpentier singled in the first, walked in the third, has been stranded on third base in each time in which he's reached. Behind a ball and 2 strikes as Beal takes the sign from Sharp. Catcher sets up away. The offering right to the mitt, just off the outside.
Sharpie framed that one for an extended time there. He thought that one was across the plate, and there's a little chatter going back and forth between the Rebel dugout and home plate umpire Michael Goebel. That looked like it was across the zone.
It was at least right to where Sharp was set up. Meanwhile, the runner goes in the 2-2 pitch. It's down. The throw from the knees bounces and is late. As Ostrander steals his 10th base of the year, a number that is now tops in the clubhouse. Ostrander was tied with Garcia, currently in the hole for the team lead.
good pitch to run on right there. The ball's low and in the dirt. Sharpie having to throw from his knees, couldn't get enough on it to make that throw down to second.
So from 0-2 to 3-2, Beal's offering. Hit in the air down the left field side. Trouble for Krizik, who hustles, gets over to foul territory. He can't get there.
Ball's going to be foul, though, by about 5 feet.
And Krizik thought he was going to have that. That's a tough area to sell out as far as a potential dive. There's that gate that is open, typical practice area beyond the left field fence. It's an extra soccer field, and Krizik did actually run into that half fence in front of the batting cage pretty hard. Good to see him up and back into action, back in position at left field. So after a foul ball on 3-2, Carpentier stares down Beal, who delivers his ground ball pulled fouled on the first base side.
And this is why I like the aggressiveness from the Lancers. You know, Beal's one pitch away from turning a double play with a runner on first, but with him able to steal the bag at second, takes a double play out of play and could actually, you know, with a runner in scoring position, Lancers can get a 2-run lead here.
Ground ball back up the middle, past the diving shortstop Myro into center field. Pimentel up, firing towards the plate. It's up the line and not in time. It's a 5-run inning for California Baptist as Carpentier joins in, reaching base for the 3rd time today. He's now 2 for 3 with an RBI, and here comes Corey Vanderhook to go have a word with Noah Beal before Mitchell Simon stands in. And at the same time, the bullpen starts to get active down the first base side.
Yeah, a number of Rebels leaving the dugout to get down into the bullpen. We're going to get some activity here. This is not a situation where he's ready to pull Beal out, as nobody's been warming up for the hustling Rebels. So this is just an opportunity for Coach Vanderhook to get out there, talk about trying to get out of this inning.
Let's go, Mitchell!
Keeping that runner at first base. I'm sure that's part of the conversation also. You know, the Lancers have been pretty aggressive on the base pass over the last couple days, so we can keep him at first, try to do some type of double play ball, get out of this thing, let the bullpen get warmed up. The Rebels will be in a little better shape, only going to be trailing by 2, but giving up 5 here, that's that crooked number that we just got to eliminate.
Looks like it's Joey Acosta getting loose. Number 19 sprinting down there. So likely Acosta to follow Beal. Beal trying to get through the 4th inning. Facing off against the top power batter in the Lancer lineup is Mitchell Simon, always dangerous from the right. He swings at the first pitch and pops it up a mile high to left center. Heading over into the gap to call it off is Alex Pimentel. Center fielder reaches up and makes the catch with one hand. Second out of the inning put on the board. Back to first goes Carpentier. And now it's Dusty Garcia, the 9th batter of the inning for California Baptist. They've plated 5 runs so far on 5 hits, only 1 of them for extra bases. Garcia, the final answer to hit here in the 4th. He made the final out of the 3rd on a strikeout. Also popped out to center field. He batted in the 1st inning. Lines this one the other way. Down the side, it's fair. Rolling into the corner for extra bases. Carpentier getting the wave around 3rd. Krizik's throw goes to the cutoff man. Myro's throw to the plate. It's in time. Tag applied by Sharp. He is out.
One heck of a play right there. The relay to Myro with Krizik getting deep in that corner, has to dig that ball out, gets the relay to Myro. Myro makes a heck of a throw. Sharpie able to get that tag down early for that 3rd out. So that's a big out to eliminate that run, get the Rebels back into the dugout and try to get to the plate and produce some runs now.
7-6-2 goes the put out at home plate, but it's a 9-batter inning for California Baptist, who plays 5 runs on 5 hits, no errors, and 1 runner left on base. UNLV trailing for the first time, due up in the bottom of the 4th, coming up next in what is a 5-3 game.
Lancers, staying in the game and playing right field, number 10, Matthew Darr. Moving from right field to center field, number 3, Dusty Garcia. Leading off the fourth for the Hustlin' Rebels, left fielder, number 47, Austin Krizik.
Hustlin' Rebels with some work to do in the bottom of the fourth inning, trailing by a 5-3 score. California Baptist plating 5 runs on 6 hits. In the top half of the fourth inning, Austin Krizik up against Spencer Bengard, who deals his 47th pitch of the game to number 47, Austin Krizik, and we're underway in the bottom of the fourth inning. Krizik followed by Higgins and Murphy. Trio of power batters right off the bat in the fourth.
Yeah, and if it wasn't for that great defensive play by the Rebels there on that relay to get that runner out at home, this could have been an inning that was still going on, because the Rebels probably would have gone to the bullpen.
2 balls and no strikes the count to Austin Krizik from Spencer Bengard. The action continues in both bullpens. Chris takes all the way on a 2-0 fastball at the knees for a called strike 1. Joey Acosta started to get warmed up during that last half inning. Beal began to struggle, facing all 9 Lancers in 1 inning. And the double barrel action continues down the left field side for CBU as Krizik fouls the fastball off and the count goes even at 2. So a right-hander and a left-hander continuing to throw for California Baptist. The righty stopped during that last half inning. The lefty continued to throw and starts to throw with some more vigor now. Krizik swings at a 2-1 slider and fouls it straight back. That one looked like it caught the catcher Carpentier underneath the mask. Kind of in that upper chest collarbone area. He's grabbing onto it now. Almost a professional courtesy for Michael Goebel to go out and hand deliver a new ball to the pitcher Bengard.
We'll see that too when the umpire takes it off any part of his body. The catcher's going to get out there and try to give him a chance to kind of regroup.
It's a professional understanding between the two behind the plate. Krizik lines one the other way. Charging is the new right fielder Matthew Darr, but not able to get there. That takes a bounce and the throw goes back to first. Really catching Krizik napping, but he's safe on first with his first hit of the day to move to 1 for 2. And after going 1 for 4 yesterday, a good feeling for Krizik to reach base.
Newly inserted right fielder Darr for the Lancers got a pretty good break on that thing, but it was tailing away from him from the right-handed hitter Krizik. Did a good job to get that ball relayed back to first base. You don't see that ball thrown back into first, but because he was down the line, it was a pretty easy throw. Made it closer than it needed to be for Krizik.
First pitch in there for a strike to Cade Higgins on a fastball down and outside. You mentioned the defensive changes. Matthew Darr pinch hit for Nick Dumanel during the last half inning. Dusty Garcia, who was in right, slides to center. Darr takes over in right for Garcia. Higgins swings over a fastball for strike 2. He doesn't miss it very often on those types of pitches.
No, and we saw that at his last at bat, taking that ball over the right field fence. 0-2 here. You're probably going to see something low breaking into the feet of, oh, he's challenging with the fastball.
Went down and outside, buried it into the dirt to move it 1-2. 3 strikeouts so far for Bengard, but none since he fanned Krizik in the second inning. Krizik on first with nobody out here in the fourth. Rebels have put each of their last 2 leadoff hitters on in the third and now the fourth innings. Higgins fights that pitch off. That one a little too close to take down by the knees. He stays alive at 1-2.
I was watching the alignment from one of the assistant coaches. He's getting the left fielder in considerably. So you would expect fastballs here because the Lancers are expecting Higgins to be late on this.
And Darr shading deep and right as well as Higgins takes a called strike 3. Beautifully placed breaker over the outside. Freezes Higgins. It's the 3rd called strikeout out of 4 Ks overall on the day for Spencer Bengard. That puts a big out on the board here in the 4th with a double play active up the middle for Braden Murphy.
Yeah, at this point with the Rebels trailing by 2, advancing that runner, the leadoff runner Krizik, is really critical with no outs. That ball froze Higgins, so good pitch by Bengard to get his first out.
First pitch swinging is Braden Murphy. It's a high fly ball to straightaway center field. A couple of steps back and now in for Garcia. As the center fielder gloves it, back to first goes Krizik. And with 2 outs and a runner on first is Paul Myro, who singled and scored back in the 3rd inning.
Myro, the 4th.
So a chance here for Myro to kind of jumpstart things with 2 outs. That was an area in which UNLV struggled mightily yesterday. Was hitting with 2 outs. All their offense, limited offense that they produced, all came early in innings. Myro's got a slightly closed off stance from the right. He takes a first pitch fastball right down Broadway from Bengard for strike 1.
Bengard's been relying on that fastball here over the last few batters. Rebels have not been able to catch up with that one. Myro does watch that one come across.
Myro now with 37 hits on the season. After his 3rd inning base hit to lead it off, takes that fastball low, and the count evens at 1. Paul Myro the 4th. Comes from a baseball family in town. You mentioned his brother Gunnar, set to attend UNLV next year. Slider called for a strike, and it's 1-2 count to Paul. But for Gunnar, you mentioned he also kicks, and he's got interest at the college level with his leg, not just the baseball skills.
He has, but he knows that baseball is his ticket. So, you know, he would love to come in and kick for the Rebels as well as play baseball, but that's not going to happen, at least for the first year for the future Rebel.
Paul takes a called strike 3. Bengard dotting the outside again. His 2nd strikeout of the inning is the 5th of the game, and a leadoff single stranded on base in the bottom of the 4th inning. We've played 4 full from Earl E. Wilson Stadium. California Baptist with a 5-3 lead.
I still feel your touch in my dreams. Forgive me my weakness,
Fans, the Rebel Athletic Fund is the team behind the teams, generating critical resources to support all UNLV student athletes. Learn more about how you can help graduate leaders, win championships, and help our student athletes excel at what they do best by visiting rebelathleticfund.com. Ladies and gentlemen, now pitching for the Rebels, number 19, Joey Acosta.
A state that's untouchable like Elliot Ness. The track hits your eardrum like a to your chest. Like a vest for you in the city is. We in that sunshine state, what about be the state where you never find a dance floor empty and be on a mission for them. Lean, money making machines, serving fiends. I've been in the game for 10 years making rap.
UNLV Baseball presented by Intermountain Healthcare. Here to be a part of your Las Vegas life, and more importantly, here to help you live an even healthier one. Intermountain Healthcare, official health partner of UNLV Athletics. 5-3 California Baptist on top of UNLV, and as we enter into the top of the 5th, the new arm atop the mound for Stan Stulte and company as the California-born right-hander Joey Acosta takes over behind Noah Beal. Acosta wearing number 19, stands 6'3", tips the scales at 215 pounds. The El Camino Community College Junior College transfer, originally from the Manhattan Beach area, in behind Noah Beal, whose final line rests with 5 runs, all earned on 10 hits over 4 innings. Beal walked 2, struck out 2, and leaves as the pitcher of record for UNLV. Beal was in danger all day, Dan, but able to get out of it for the first 3 innings. Unfortunately, everything just kind of adding up, a battle of contrition in the 4th.
Yeah, we talked about the fundamental baseball from California Baptist. They just did a good job of putting the bat on the ball. Choosy at the plate, got a free pass, and they were able to capitalize on that.
First pitch from Acosta to the right-handed batting Jake Skipworth is cut on and missed for strike 1. Acosta pitching for the 11th time on the year, just the 5th time he's done it out of the bullpen. 1-3 record and a 7.23 ERA with a SoCal native. He gets ahead quickly, 0-2. Nicely spotted fastball over the outside to Skipworth, who has singled, scored, and grounded out so far. Acosta out of the stretch on 0-2. Here's the delivery. Skipworth swings and misses. Beautiful slider from Acosta. Starts off on a swinging foot. Skipworth down on strikes to begin the outing for Acosta.
Acosta's last outing at San Jose on Sunday last weekend matched up against San Jose State. Actually followed Josh Sharman, came in early, pitched 5 innings, ended up with the loss for that game. Gave up 5 runs on 4 hits.
Only 2 of those runs earned as well.
Correct.
Howarth in from the right side, swings and fouls a pitch straight back. big body designated hitter Cole Howarth has doubled, walked, and scored one of the 5 runs for California Baptist in that 5-run 4th inning. Acosta gives up a line drive, base hit over the head of the shortstop Myro into left center field. Not a lot of exit velo there for Cole Howarth, but he'll take it on his 2nd hit of the day. And the DH has now reached base 3 times this afternoon. 1 out, 1 on for Josh Pano, who has doubled, driven a run while he did, and also sacrificed bunt back in the 2nd.
It's going to be important for the Rebels and Joey Acosta right here to try to shut the Lancers down, keep that 2-run deficit intact. Rebel bats are heating up a little bit. Got to string some things together as Acosta gets that slider across for a called strike. But, you know, Acosta's job right now, they're going to expect him to come in and eat up some innings. He's been a starter for the Rebels over the years. You know, he's in a situation right now where he's got to eat up some innings, keep the...
Oh, that one hits the batter, barely tipping the elbow of Josh Pano. I don't think Acosta necessarily agrees. He's got the hands held skyward on the mound.
Yeah, he didn't get much argument from Sharpie there.
Usually that's one that you hear more than see as an umpire.
Correct.
So now that puts Howarth up to 2nd, Pano to 1st. 2 on and 1 out, still looking for a ground ball against Matthew Darr. And before the AB, Jacob Sharp goes out to have a word. 1st and 2nd with 1 out. California Baptist leading 5-3. This one definitely a strategic visit as well. Darr lined a base hit to right field, sliced it between Charles and Murphy on the right side of the infield when he did in the 4th.
Unfortunately, that's been a trend for Acosta this year. That's his 15th hit batter. So he tries to work in, especially against the righties, tries to work in really tight and hit quite a few batters this year.
By far the most on the team as Darr puts this one in play. Shout to left field, charging is Krizik, and the left fielder's able to make the catch. Myro, the shortstop, was out there quite a ways.
Myro covered a lot of ground right there.
The last second, Krizik communicating that, hey, this is an easy play for me coming in rather than the shortstop coming out for out number 2.
But all important 2nd out there. Joey's 1 batter away from getting out of this inning, shutting down the Lancers and trying to keep the runners in scoring position, not getting across on the board.
So Shane Simpson will pinch hit for Connor McGuire here with 2 outs, 2 on in a 5-3 game in the bottom of the 5th. At the top of the 5th, California Baptist playing on the road. So McGuire out, Simpson in from the left side as he takes a first pitch heater low from Acosta. So already the 2nd pinch hitter of the game. Darr pinch hit for Dumanil in that 5-run 4th inning, and then Shane Simpson pinch hitting here in the top of the 5th. Curveball down and away for a ball as Acosta tried to aim that one more so than pitch it. And the count goes 2 balls, no strikes to Simpson, who was in the lineup yesterday as a designated hitter. Went 2 for 3 with 3 hard hit balls before he was removed. A deep bench that Gary Adcock able to use quite often in a non-conference slate. Acosta misses low and the count goes 3-1.
Yeah, this is a situation where Acosta just got to bear down. Got to get the ball across right here. You got to imagine Simpson's going to keep the bat on his shoulders with 2 outs here. Runners in scoring position.
Simpson, a .265 hitter on the year with a green light on 3-0. Hammers this one to straightaway center field. Center fielder Pimentel turns around, watches it bounce off the top of the wall and back into the field of play. Simpson holds up at 2nd. Both runners score, and it's now a 7-3 lead for the Lancers.
Now that's that situation we talked about. He may keep the bat on his shoulders, but he's been hot. He was 2 for 3 last night, as you referenced. He knew a heater was going to come, and he just drove that ball that just missed getting out of the early Wilson ballpark here at the 400 mark in straight center field. Pimentel had to get on his horse to get all the way out there, retrieve that ball, but easily scores 2 runners.
Leadoff man Garrett Ostrander stands in for the 4th time in 5 innings. It's a bending curveball right down the middle for a strike. Simpson with a pair of RBIs on the double off the top of the fence. Ribby's number 3 and 4 for him on the year. Limited outings. He's on 2nd with 2 outs. Here's another curveball. This one backing Ostrander away from the plate, then cutting in over the inside for a called strike 2. Acosta trying to limit the damage to 2 runs on 2 hits in the 5th inning. Ostrander's 1 of 3. Drove in a run on a single back in the 4th inning. The 0-2. Poked down the right field side and into the bleacher seats. Count remains no balls and 2 strikes. You want to take a guess on the exit velocity on that double? The number's just now coming through.
I'm going to say 102.
103. You're
103.
you're getting good at this later in the season. There's another 0-2. Acosta nearly gets Ostrander to offer up, but instead holds up on a called ball 1.
And that ball was not wind dated. That was just a straight shot to center field.
Simpson, a big body as well at 6'4", 228 pounds, out of Lake Forest, California. Ostrander, the left fielder, down 1-2. Swings here and lifts it to left. Krizik moving towards the line, and he drifts over to make the catch, but not before another couple of runs added on for California Baptist. Entered the inning up 5-2, make it 5-3. Now a 7-3 lead, scoring 2 runs on 2 hits, including a 2 RBI double from the pinch hitter Shane Simpson. And with that, we've played half a ball game. 4.5 innings down, 4.5 to go. 9-1-2 due up for UNLV, who trails CBU 7-3.
It features real-time news alerts, schedules, exclusive content, ticket integration, game day details, and more. The UNLV Rebels mobile app is free and compatible with both iOS and Android devices. So go download it today. Ladies and gentlemen, entering the game for CBU at second base, number 2, CJ Maciel. Leading off the 5th for UNLV, the right fielder, number 35, Jason Sharman.
Bottom of the Rebel lineup set to get it going here in the bottom of the 5th inning. UNLV trails California Baptist 7-3, with CBU scoring all of their offense in the 4th and 5th innings. Rebels looking to match them here in the middle frames as Jason Sharman leads things off, taking a called strike 1 on a fastball from Spencer Bengard, who's done nicely to turn his outing around. Was knocked around in the 3rd inning, had multiple arms up in the bullpen behind him. They're still warming up as Bengard really efficient through the 4th. Evens it up at 1-1 with a fastball here in the 5th to Sharman to lead things off.
Sharman with this sacrifice bunt last time. We talked about the enthusiasm. And he looks excited. I like the body language. Hitting from the left side of the plate there.
Takes a bouncing fastball to move the count to 2 balls and a strike. Sharman starting for the 5th time this year, playing in his 19th game. 6 hits and 33 at-bats. Didn't have either a hit or an AB back in the 3rd. As you mentioned, the sacrifice bunt. Drives this one down the left field side, but bending out of play as it fades for a foul ball. Moves the count to 2-2. Sharman, along with his brother Josh, mainstays in the UNLV roster for the last 3-4 years. Jason lines one back up the middle, past the shortstop Pano, into center field for a base hit. Sharman with a good outing so far today. Leads off the 5th inning with a single. It's the 3rd straight inning that the Rebels have put the leadoff runner on. As we go back to the top of the lineup, got to reset the defense for California Baptist with CJ Maciel taking over at second base. Shane Simpson had pinch hit and drove in a couple of runs on a double. He's replaced by Maciel defensively. Darr in right, Garcia in center, Ostrander still in left, with Skipworth and Simon at 1st and 3rd respectively. Here's Pimentel, takes a first pitch fastball. Still working with some pretty good velocities, Spencer Bengard. Been upwards of 92 on the fastball today. He's a big body, 6'4", 220 plus pounds. Good size lead for Sharman off first. Here's the 0-1 to Pimentel. Line towards second. Glove by Maciel. The throw to first is just late. Heads up base running for Sharman. And doing what you're taught on a line drive like that, oftentimes you're told to freeze. I was always told, don't even freeze, go back if there's any doubt in your mind.
Yeah, that ball not hit exceptionally hard, kind of tailing away from Maciel towards the first base side. So he was easily able to come up with that, but Sharman heads up right there. To your point, he got back pretty early.
1 out, 1 on for Ryland Charles. Rebels down 4. Ryland bunts one down the third base side, but it's well foul. Kind of catching Simon napping, but that one never close to being a fair ball.
Yeah, Ryland, one of the 2 Rebels in the lineup that have the green light to put that ball down. Him and Santino Panaro do a really good job with that. Coach Higgins gives them the green light to do whatever they need to do to get on base, and with the third baseman playing behind the bag, I think it was a good opportunity right there, just not executed.
Next pitch, he fouls a fastball straight back off the chest protector of Carpentier as the count goes 0-2. Man, tough day at the office for Carpentier already.
Yeah, he's getting nicked up. You know, this is why you typically see on Sunday the catcher that plays Friday and Saturday is going to get a rest on Sunday, but well, that's Carpentier, good athlete, and we'll see what he has on tomorrow's lineup from Coach Adcock.
Pops up to catch that one high out of the zone on 0-2. Charles moves it to a 1-2 count. He's singled twice, including an RBI on a base hit in the third. Carpentier, a pivotal part of this offense. Starting 9 for Coach Adcock. Maybe we'll see him as a DH tomorrow. Who knows? Gets in the way of this bouncing ball. Charles watching it for a called ball 2. Sharman with a good secondary lead on that bouncing ball, drawing the attention of the catcher.
And typically you'll see Jacob Sharp on the days he's not catching. He's in that DH slot.
Be interested to see tomorrow a Sunday and a non-conference slate especially. Maybe a unique lineup for both sides tomorrow. Count 2-2 to Charles, playing at first base today. Takes another bouncing ball. Carpentier throws to first. Sharman just able to get the right hand back in on a dive. And he's testing the limits there.
Yeah, he was out probably about 20 feet off the bag and almost paused as he saw the ball coming back towards first base, but was able to, you know, Sharman is deceptively fast. You know, he's not Pimentel and he's not Ryland Charles, but he can run.
He takes off on the pitch as Charles fouls it out of play down the left field side. So Coach Kevin Higgins getting the runner in motion on a 3-2 count with 1 out. I would expect to see something similar here.
Yeah, you're going to have to see the runners getting in motion, try to get somebody in scoring position.
Sharman doesn't go. The 3-2 pitch way high and outside as Charles works his way on base for the 3rd time this afternoon. A great at-bat overall for Ryland.
We're going to get a mound visit here. The Lancers have had quite a few guys up in the bullpen for the last couple innings, so maybe seeing the end of the day for Bengard, who's done a fantastic job after settling down in that 3rd inning for the Lancers. Adcock's going to have a conversation with the entire Lancer infield. Looks like he's biding some time to maybe give a little bit more time to the bullpen.
Well, let's see, because, yeah, there's been a right-hander and a left-hander warming up for quite some time. The right-hander, at least in theory, should be ready to go. Now the home plate umpire, Michael Goebel, out to go break up the meeting of the minds. Looking out towards the bullpen. The righty's just standing there atop the mound. He is not warming up. So this one definitely looks like more of a strategic visit than one to buy time for the pen.
You know what? This is a situation, too. I think Coach Adcock's just going out there to Bengard and saying, hey, are you good? If you're good, I'm going to stick with you. You know, 1 out here, runners on first and second for the Rebels. You know, Bengard says, I saw his head nodding affirmative many times in that conversation right there. So I like that when a coach goes out and actually asks a player, how do you feel?
Yeah, because sometimes the coach or a manager goes out and asks that almost sarcastically just to kind of, bide the time. That time looked like it was more of actually an inquisitive ask. But here's Jacob Sharp with 2 on and 1 out. He lines it straight back to the screen on the first pitch. He's behind 0-1. This is a Lancer team that really didn't blow out the bullpen yesterday either. Ryan Delgado threw a perfect inning in the 3rd before being lifted for Brandon Downer, who went the final 2 2/3 innings. So you got a couple of guys go extended outings. Were really efficient. You got plenty of options in the bullpen for the rest of the weekend. 0-1 to Sharp. Popped in the air down the right field side. Coming in and towards the line is the right fielder Dar. Still on the move. He dives. He's able to grab it. Falling into foul territory as he does so. Neither runner tagged up or was able to advance. Great play by Dar, who had to cover a ton of ground on that ball coming in the other way off the bat of a righty.
Outstanding play right there by Dar. That ball was slicing away from him. He's able to get over there, make the dive, and catch that ball just in foul territory with Sharman halfway to 3rd base. No way to tag up. He's kind of in that no man's land in those types of situations. So 2 outs here with runners on first and second for the Rebels, trailing by 4.
Now an opportunity for Noah Rodriguez to take a bite into that lead. Right-handed swinging 3rd baseman, keeps the bat on the shoulder there, takes the overhand curveball over the outside for a call, strike 1 from Bengard.
It'll be interesting to go back and see Rodriguez's hits this year. As I remember of them, most of them he takes right up the middle, so he's getting the barrel on the bat. The barrel of the bat on the ball. This would be a good opportunity to come through again.
Oftentimes, true freshmen have trouble catching up to the velocity at the college level. If you're hitting it right back up the middle, it means that you're geared up on the time. You're right on it. He's ahead 2-0. Great hitters count with a couple of runners on. Takes that bouncing ball. Sharman with the heads-up read, sliding in feet first and safely at third without a throw. Wild pitch advancing Sharman second to third. Charles, meanwhile, stays at first. That one was just a ball and dirt read by Sharman off second.
Yeah, Carpenter did a really good job of blocking that ball, as both runners would have been able to advance if the ball got to the backstop. But Sharman heads up play there to advance to third on that 90-foot wild pitch advancement.
Rodriguez takes his slider for a called strike. Comeback pitch there from Bengard. The count goes 2 balls, 2 strikes with 2 outs and a couple of runners on. Deuce is wild here in the 5th inning. Rebels with 3 runs on 6 hits so far. Rodriguez trying to add to both of those categories. Krizik watching on deck as Bengard comes set, crossing the left foot in front of the right. The 2-2 pitch. Rodriguez bounces it the other way. The hit and run works to perfection as Sharman scores. The throw from right field goes to third. It's tipped by the cutoff man. So Charles in safely on an RBI base hit from Noah Rodriguez.
Again, the Rebels get the runner in motion. Second baseman Maciel makes the break over towards second with a 2-2 count against Rodriguez. And all Rodriguez does is take it into the 4-hole, be able to get a single, advancing Charles all the way to third and scoring the Rebels' 4th run. So chipping away for the Rebels, this is what they got to do.
7-4 ball game. RBI number 4 for Rodriguez, both on the year and in his collegiate career. Krizik take that fastball up and away. He disagrees, but it's a called strike 1 nonetheless. Krizik with a base hit to lead off the 4th. Never made it past first base after he struck out swinging to start his offensive day in the 2nd. He represents the tying run and hacks and misses at a slider right down the middle for a called strike 2.
0-2 veteran player is where he needs to shorten up and just get something into play to try to find something for the Rebels here.
Rodriguez off first, Charles off third. The 0-2 pitch way outside. Krizik with a good discerning batting eye always, but he's not one to swing at that type of pitch.
No, he's going to be disciplined even with 2 strikes, 2 outs here. Runners in scoring position. He's a leader. He's a veteran. He's seen the situation before.
He's behind 1-2 still. Sticks the bat head out and lines it down the right field side. It drops. 1 run scores. Rodriguez slams on the brakes at second, but it's an RBI base hit for Austin Krizik. It comes on a 1-2 count. And there's that veteran presence in the batter's box like you had mentioned.
That's a great piece of hitting right there. We're going to get a pitching change here. But one thing is of note, Rodriguez broke from first. He held up at second base. Coach Higgins, talking to the freshman Rodriguez, that's just lack of experience right there. That ball Rodriguez should have easily been able to get to third, put runners on first and third, but nonetheless, good piece of hitting. Rebels trail by 2.
So it is the left-hander out of the bullpen for California Baptist. Bengard's day is done after 4 2/3 innings. He won't qualify for the win. Got to go 5 minimum as a starter to qualify for the win. Number 42, Ryan Hernandez, to take over when we return.
Ladies and gentlemen, now pitching for the Lancers, number 42, Ryan Hernandez. And at the plate for the Rebels, number 14, Cade.
Left-hander Ryan Hernandez takes over atop the mound for California Baptist. Hernandez, a lanky 5'9", if there is such a thing. Listed at 140 pounds. Junior southpaw, transfer from Riverside City College, up against Cade Higgins with a couple of runners on and 2 outs here in the 5th inning. Rebels have scored 2 runs in the frame already. First pitch by Hernandez, a center cut fastball that Higgins takes for a called strike 1. Hernandez has pitched in 8 games so far this year. Pitched back on Tuesday when California Baptist defeated UC Riverside in a 1-game non-conference matchup. Nice looking slider, drops down the middle of the plate for Higgins as he's taken 2 called strikes to fall behind 0-2. 1 for 2 is the DH today with a home run and a strikeout in his plate appearances thus far.
Strategic move by the Lancers here, bringing the lefty against lefty Higgins and lefty Murphy in the Rebel lineup.
Higgins just is able to get a piece of that one, tipping the breaking pitch off the end of the bat. Able to stay alive on 0-2. A good note there because the right-hander still continues to warm up down the left field side for California Baptist. So Hernandez may not be long for this game. He's in to do a job, and that's to get the left-handed hitters out. In fact, you look at his outings, his longest outing of the year, a full inning against UC Riverside on Tuesday. Had not yet pitched a whole inning on the year. That was that slider that just misses a bit off the outside. Good watch from Higgy to move it 1-2. That's not your typical 0-2 waste pitch.
That is not. But nonetheless, a very good pitch. Throwing that bender with some confidence.
In 8 outings, Hernandez has lasted through 3 innings on the year. Gives up a line drive foul, going the opposite way on a line drive from Higgins. It's Rodriguez on second, Krizik on first. They've both singled in runs. Sharman and Charles scoring as the Rebels adding on, scoring a run in the second on the Higgins home run, 2 in the third, 2 so far in the 5th. And a 1-2 to the designated hitter. It's a slider hit off the hands the other way in the air, shallow to left field. Going back is Pano. Coming in is the left fielder, Ostrander. It'll be the left fielder at the last moment to call off the shortstop and make the grab. Higgins pops out. Hernandez does the job, but the Rebels able to get 2 runs on the board on 3 hits, including back-to-back singles from Rodriguez and Krizik. Through 5 innings full, UNLV gets back into the game, but California Baptist still on top by a 7-5 score.
Challenge. Joey Acosta played the game earlier, but today we have Tyga, who has 15 seconds to name as many items in a category. If he names more than Joey, he will win a prize pack courtesy of Raising Cane's. Here we go. Your topic is movie genres. Ready, set, go, Tyga.
Sports, sci-fi, mystery, horror, comedy, action, romance, scary movies, rated R.
And time is up. Rated R does not count.
It's going down
rom-com, action, thriller, horror, mystery, comedy, documentary.
Final score, 7 for Joey, 11 for Tyga. Congratulations.
On to the 6th we go. California Baptist holding on to a 7-5 lead. UNLV plating a pair of comeback runs in the bottom of the 5th inning. Joey Acosta pitching for his 2nd inning of work out of the UNLV bullpen up against Michael Carpentier, followed by Mitchell Simon and Dusty Garcia. First pitch swinging is the catcher Carpentier on a foul ball straight back. Moves it 0-1. The Rebels already, Dan, today doing what they couldn't do yesterday and stringing offense together in multiple innings. It was really tough sledding on the offensive side of things yesterday. As Sharp goes to the dugout, looks like there's something up with his gear.
Yeah, and that's what we've been talking about this backhand half of the season. Rebels just haven't been able to string those things together. You know, there's some games earlier in the year where you always reference those picket fences and then get that crooked number. We just haven't had that continuity and that flow to the offense. But starting to pick up a little today. 8 hits, that's more than we've had in the last 5 games. So hopefully there's a sign of good things to come for the Rebels as we finish up tomorrow against the Lancers, and then travel on Monday for 2 games against Creighton University, which is traditionally a very good mid-major baseball program. Play it at TD Amerihouse.
Ameritrade.
Ameritrade.
Close.
Ameritrade, home of the College World Series.
First pitch back from Sharp behind the plate. A fastball dealt over the outside from Acosta for a called strike 2. Yeah, the Rebels playing at some outstanding road facilities this year overall.
Yeah, the trip to Arkansas, the trip to Oklahoma, Cal Poly, Arizona State. Curveball misses just outside for Acosta. You know, that was very strategic for the Rebel coaching staff, is to get some bigger experience and hopefully raise the RPI for the program.
Acosta misses just off the outside with a fastball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Now the count to Carpentier. Yeah, whenever they schedule a game at Pepperdine, let me know. I'll pay my way to go to that one. That's a facility I've been dying to check out.
We can spend the whole weekend. We'll just stay on the beach the whole time.
Acosta set on 2-2. Pitch way outside on the breaking ball. 3 balls and 2 strikes the count. Yeah, nothing against Midwest and East Coast colleges and college baseball facilities, but just something about the West Coast when it comes to college baseball and the way that they run the facilities and just some of the views in general. Here's the 3-2 payoff from Acosta to Carpentier. Sliced the other way, but a line drive goes foul into the bullpen down the left field side.
I mean, if it was up to me, and I talked to Coach Stolte quite a bit about this, you know, we get the Pepperdine, UCSB, University of San Diego. We get that tour. We just do a little, maybe even throw in a Hawaii trip.
Just schedule the whole Big West and WCC in the non-con.
Let's go beach.
Another 3-2 pitch, line in the left. Krizik over towards the gap, takes a step back at the last moment and cuts it off. Able to reach above the head and grab the Carpentier line drive. First time that Carpentier's been retired today. He was 2 for 3 with a walk prior.
Next up, number 1.
So far, so good for Acosta in the 6th inning. He set down both leadoff men that he's faced. Nobody on ahead of Mitchell Simon, who has singled twice and popped out to straightaway center back in the 4th inning. Acosta absolutely going to be asked to go at least multiple innings, pitching here in his 2nd inning of work. Misses outside to begin the at-bat against Simon, but likely to save the bullpen for the rest of the weekend and give them a good starting block on Tuesday, depending on how the rest of this game and Sunday shake out.
I mean, optimally, what you'd like to see is Acosta being able to shut the Lancers down, get back into this ball game, maybe tie it up or get the lead and bring in our closer, Sellinger, try to finish the game here, and that leaves Sellinger to maybe be able to pitch again on Wednesday.
Acosta's behind 2-0, throws it at the head of Simon, and the breaking ball tumbles just off the inside of the plate, where the count goes 3 balls and no strikes. Still haven't seen Sellinger. Haven't seen a ton of Noah Matera this year. Jordan Hansen sidelined for a little bit. Maybe Sam Simon, Zach Simon. It's plenty of options. Simon swings at 3-0 and skies it on the left side of the infield. It's Rodriguez and Myro communicating. It'll be the shortstop Myro battling with the sun, and at the last second lunging to his left to grab it on an underhand effort. It's a high sky with no clouds to speak of above Early Wilson, and that makes it really, really tough. There's no frame of reference on a pop fly that high, especially one that doesn't travel far.
Well, that's why I really like Myro calling Rodriguez off there. Rodriguez playing as a true freshman. Myro, a veteran coming in. He's got to make that play for the Rebels, and did a good job with calling him off.
Dusty Garcia waves and misses at a first pitch elevated fastball. Yeah, you could tell right off the bat that Rodriguez didn't see it off the bat. And oftentimes it's shortstop, even if you got to go a little bit of extra room, if you see it off the bat, it makes it way easier. Count evens up at 1. That fastball outside.
But, you know, Rodriguez is wearing a pair of sunglasses, but they're not on his face. They're on his brim of his cap, so he had to shade the sun with his hand.
Line drive straight back in our direction moves the count 1-2. Yeah, you'll see that a lot, actually.
Yeah.
It kind of makes you reminisce about the old days where a lot of guys wore the flip-up shades.
You know, one thing I was going to ask you, too, you know, that high fly ball right there, staying in the infield, the runner is making the turn at first and going all the way closer to second. If that ball's dropped, it's probably easily thrown out at second. I don't understand that sometimes.
One hop ground ball hit to the second baseman. Murphy standing in shallow right. His throw is up the line, not fielded cleanly by Charles. Rounding first, heading to second is Garcia. No throw from Jacob Sharp as he prevented it from going into the first base dugout.
We talked about this last night. Situation, we got 2 outs in the inning, nobody on, get out of here, get back to the plate. The defense lets the Rebels down with Murphy having plenty of time, but throwing that ball wide over to first base and just away up the line for Charles, who wasn't able to come up with that. So error by Braden Murphy would have gotten the Rebels out of the inning.
First defensive misplay either way this afternoon. Comes after a sloppy day yesterday for both sides. Skipworth, the first baseman, takes a breaking ball down low. Garcia ends up at second. I thought for a moment that Jacob Sharp was going to have a play as Garcia took a big wide turn around the base, but I don't think that Sharpie ever really fielded it and transferred it cleanly. Smart to keep it in the back pocket there. 1-0 pitch to the first baseman. Skipworth is in there on a fastball to even it up in 1. He has singled, struck out, and grounded out so far. Bats here with the 7-5 lead. 7 runs on 12 hits for California Baptist. 5 runs on 8 hits for UNLV. This one's tipped straight back to the screen, and Acosta 1 pitch away from getting out of the inning without allowing a run.
Good pitch by Acosta right there. That slider starting in on the numbers to the right-handed hitter, working back across the plate. That ball just fisted back to the netting.
2 errors so far for UNLV. There was that Sharman misplay in the 4th that accounted for the Pano run, part of that 5-run inning. 1-2 slider just inside, maybe a bit down as well. Although Acosta nodding to Jacob Sharp after the pitch. That's exactly where they wanted it on Skipworth. But the count goes even at 2. He reaches. Cole Howarth, big body waiting on deck. A 2-2 from Acosta. He sets, he rocks, he delivers. Skipworth reaches at a strike 3 pitch way out of the zone. Set down on strikes for the 2nd time today. Acosta's got him on both. Acosta allows 1 base runner, no runs on no hits, 1 error, 1 man left on. Through 5.5, it's California Baptist over UNLV by a 7-5 tally.
Hey fans, we love it when our youth teams come out to support UNLV baseball. If you have a group that would like to join us this season, just call 702-739-FANS and we can make it happen.
Dime pa' dónde vamos después de la playa. Si nos secamos, yo traigo la toalla y de nuevo nos mojamos. Pero en mi cama te voy a dar tabla de surfear, bebé. Dime, ¿vamos por el mambo o no vamos por el mambo? Tú me dices, mami. Zumba.
Leading off the 6th for the Hustlin' Rebels, second baseman, number 4, Braden Murphy.
Bottom of the 6th from early Wilson Stadium. Matt Nevert along with Dan Dolby on the call this afternoon as the Rebels trail the Lancers of California Baptist 7-5. UNLV looking to build off the momentum of a 2-run 5th. Ryan Hernandez back atop the hill, a running fastball in for a called strike to Braden Murphy. And we'll see if Hernandez faces anybody after Murphy. Murphy followed by Myro and Sharman. There's a lefty, then a righty, then another lefty to begin the inning for Stan Stolte and company here in the 6th. Running fastball coming back over the plate, but a bit low, and the count goes even.
We got some TrackMan numbers on Hernandez, on Hernandez last inning. That slider's breaking 1.5 feet.
There's the slider as Murphy cuts on and misses. Yeah, that thing a boomerang.
Against a left-handed hitter, that's a tough pitch.
Really tough to hit.
Go 4-2.
Just based on our point of view, too. Looks like he tunnels it well. The fastball and the slider kind of released from that same point. Makes it tough to differentiate. There's a fastball. Murphy lifts it to right field. Heading back is Dar. Right fielder on the warning track. Makes the grab for stopping himself short of the fence. Well struck ball by Murphy, but he drops to 0 for 3 on a trio of balls in play, including a ground out and now 2 flyouts. And with Paul Myro standing in, a look down the third base side, and I don't really see any movement. Looks like they're going to leave Hernandez in to face off against the right-hander Myro with the left-hander Sharman on deck.
Myro does a really good job against the breaking ball from a left-handed pitcher.
There's a fastball from the lefty as it's bounced in there for ball 1. Myro with a single and a strikeout so far on the line. Hernandez may be working on his longest outing of the year. He's gone a full inning just once. There's the breaking pitch. Myro takes it for a called strike. He checked the swing. Nothing with a ton of movement was in over the inside.
You'll hear pitching coaches against somebody who has a big slider, especially coming from the opposite side. You got to let that ball get deep on you.
Myro does that again, but this one just upstairs.
Looks like
2 balls and 1,
pitch.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Strike zone is, from our vantage point, it's been a little inconsistent today, but it's been that way for both teams. So that's all you can ask for, really.
Just that consistent zone both ways. Elevated fastball missing for ball 3, and Myro trying to find a way on. In a 2-run game, every base runner is a huge difference in the final.
Absolutely. If Myro does get on, we do have another lefty coming up in Sharman, so you would expect to see Hernandez stay.
Fastball runs back in over the inside for strike 2. Man, Hernandez has great movement on all of his pitches so far. That fastball cutting away from the righty. 5'9", listed as 140 pounds, but you wouldn't guess it based on the boldness of some of these pitches, especially that one on 3-1. Here's the 3-2 delivery to Myro. That's the slider fought off down the first base side, a foul ball.
Yeah, fought off is a great description of that. Myro is just trying to get the bat out there, keep that ball, foul it off, and try to stay in here right now. I would expect another slider coming.
Here we go again on 3-2. It is the slider way up and out for ball 4. So Hernandez left in to face the right-hander, and he walks him. Myro takes first base for the second time today, and that brings up Jason Sharman representing the tying run.
This situation with a lefty-lefty matchup, Sharman against that slider is going to be looking to try to drive something the opposite field, try to stay out of the double play situation. Get the ball down to the left field line would be really big.
Sharman backs away from that first pitch slider up by the eyes. Nearly got him on the C-flap on the front of the helmet. Sharman's 1 of 2. Had a base hit up the middle, 99 off the bat back in the 5th inning. Also with the sacrifice bunt in the 3rd, officially 1 for 1. Left on left matchup here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Sharman takes that boomerang slider across the outside for a called strike 1. Always interesting when you see the batter nodding in agreement with a called strike like that. That means that the take was on for sure.
Absolutely.
Myro off first as Sharman stares down Hernandez. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Slider inside, backs him away again.
You know, there's a situation too where the bullpen, I'm sure the Rebel dugout is saying, hey, you know, somebody needs to wear one on a situation like that. That slider's not coming in very fast, 75, 78 miles an hour. Not too hard to take one off the shoulder on that.
2-1 fastball blown by a swinging Sharman, and the count goes even at 2-2.
I think Sharman was thinking fastball there, just over the top of it though.
Fastball coming in at about 85 so far for Hernandez, so not going to necessarily blow it by anybody, but can sneak it by you if you're not expecting it. Here he comes on 2-2. As Sharman pulls the slider foul on the first base side. Look out. That's Justin Jones coaching in the first base box. Nearly wore that one.
Sharman was thinking that slider was coming right there. Just got out in front of that just a little bit.
Hernandez is the type of pitcher you can guess breaking ball and react to the fastball. Sharman choked up on the bat. Lines the 2-2 pitch right to the shortstop, Pena, who gloves it. Throw to first in time. A line drive double play. Wipes out the threat in the 6th and turns it into a 1-2-3 inning on a well-struck ball. Unfortunately mishit by Josh Sharman. We played 6 innings full. That was Jason Sharman on the final out. Beg your pardon. On to the 7th we go. It's California Baptist 7, UNLV 5.
That doesn't mean you can. Introducing an even faster and easier way to order Cane's with our new app. Find your closest restaurant, customize your meal, pay, and schedule pickup. So next time, take it easy and order with the Raising Cane's app.
Raising Cane's ticket makers. One love.
Well, there you go. There you go.
I didn't know there.
UNLV baseball presented by Dos Equis. No matter where you're watching this baseball season, be sure to buy a cold, crisp Dos Equis and yell, "Go Rebels." Entering into the top of the 7th inning, UNLV trails California Baptist 7-5. Joey Acosta, through 2 innings, has allowed a couple of runs on 2 hits. He's had an error behind him as well. 37 pitches down, 38 will come to Cole Howarth. Right-handed batting DH, who is perfect today. Swings and fouls the first pitch straight back into the mid of Sharp for a called strike 1. Howarth has singled, he's doubled, he's walked, and he's scored a pair of runs in that stretch as well. Howarth, the number 6 batter in the lineup, followed by the shortstop Pano and the right fielder Dar. Acosta misses low and the count goes even. Unfortunate line drive double play to end the bottom of the 6th, hit into by Jason Sharman on a ball that left the bat at 93. A well-struck ball right to the chest of the shortstop Pano, and Myro not able to get back to first in time as Howarth demolishes this one to straightaway center. Pimentel at the wall, turns around at the track and is able to make the catch right in front of the batter's eye. Wynn pushed that one back in because Howarth crushed it.
Yeah, I was watching Old Glory out in center field. Pimentel got on his horse, got back there, and was able to turn and make that catch. Actually, it looked like it was going to travel more than it did, but I think the wind beat that one down. Pimentel taking that one just in front of the warning track.
7-5, California Baptist leads over UNLV. 1 out, nobody on here in the top of the 7th as the shortstop Pano stands in. Takes a first pitch fastball call for a strike from Joey Acosta. Now, Joey's hoping his 3rd inning of work is more like his 2nd. Where he retired the side in 4 batters on no hits. Nicely spotted, but just off the outside of Pano. Here with 1 out, nobody on in the 7th. Pano has doubled, been hit by a pitch. He's scored twice, driven in a run. And moved a runner over on a sacrifice bunt in the 2nd inning. Curveball swung right through by Pano. That one fooled him badly. Whole front side flailing open towards left field, and it's a 1-2 count.
Yeah, took something off and threw that curveball a little slower than he usually does. Pano way out in front of that one.
Acosta's 1-2. Popped up on the right side. Heading back is the first baseman Charles. Coming in is the right fielder Sharman. Sharman calling him off and is able to make the catch. He had a read on it right from the start. And that's out number 2 on the 2nd fly out of the inning. So you've got 1 right fielder coming in. You've got your center fielder playing first base heading back. I think they were in good hands regardless of who ended up with that one.
Yeah, I think Sharman was calling that one the whole way, but all important 2nd out for Acosta here. He can work 1, 2, 3. Get the Rebels back to the plate. Bats are starting to heat up a little bit. Just got to take advantage of it.
First pitch from Acosta to Dar right down the middle for a called strike 1. Matthew Dar came in as a pinch hitter in the 4th. He's remained in since. He's 1 of 2. Drove in a run on a base hit through the right side of the infield. Later came around to score as part of that 5-run 4th inning for California Baptist. This one lined the other direction, but fading towards foul territory. The ball drops foul in the corner for strike 2.
Quickly ahead to 0-2 here. Costa can keep something low and away here from the right-handed hitter. Dar. Rebels will get out of here. Get back into the dugout and get some energy flowing.
Here's the 0-2 from Joey Acosta. After a long delay, it's swung on in line to straightaway center field. Seeing eye base hit up the middle for Dar, and he's now 2 for 3.
That's one that Acosta wishes he could have back, because being ahead, like we talked about, 0-2, threw that slider right across the center of the plate. Dar did a good job of taking that one right up the middle.
Said it earlier when we were talking about Noah Rodriguez, but it remains true in this situation. If you're hitting it back up the middle, it means your timing's spot on. CJ Maciel in for the first time, and swings and misses at a fastball elevated. Maciel came in as a defensive replacement in the bottom of the 5th after Shane Simpson pinch hit for Connor McGuire. Head coach Gary Adcock dipping deep into the bench for this weekend non-conference set. Squaring to butt here is Maciel, and it's a fastball, rather a slider inside that backs him away for ball 1.
That's that slider doesn't break, releases too early for Acosta, and that's why he has 15 hit batters this year.
Knee-high fastball, good comeback pitch in there for strike 2. So that's the thing with Joey Acosta, is that he'll flash brilliance, especially with the fastball. When he's dotting the fastball low in the zone, he's really tough to hit, induces a ton of ground balls. It's when he tries to expand the repertoire where he runs into some issues. And to get out of dodge in the 7th. The 1-2 pitch, runner goes. It's a swing and a miss for strike 3. Maciel down on strikes as Acosta strands another one on. In the top of the 7th for CBU, no runs on a hit, no errors, and a man left on. It's the stretch break at early Wilson Stadium. Get up and move around. When we come back, it'll be the bottom of the 7th. It'll be the top of the UNLV lineup to get it going, trailing CBU 7-5.
It's the 7th inning stretch, so let's sing along to Take Me Out to the Ball Game.
Just wanna sit around and play. Gonna hit balls off the dock. Kick back in my flip-flops. Don't have nothing to the only thing on my agenda is beers and sunshine. Bonfires in summertime. Back porch nights in South Carolina. Ain't no.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. Now pitching for CBU, number 41, Jacob Wilson. Leading off the 7th for the Rebels, center fielder number 22, Alex Pimentel.
Coming out of the stretch break in the bottom of the 7th inning, UNLV trails CBU 7-5. Rebels offense threatening. They've only gone down in a 1-2-3 fashion once. It was all the way back in the 1st inning. So they found a way to get runners on base. They'll have to do it against a new arm into the game as the big right-hander Jacob Wilson takes over. Alex Pimentel lines out to the third baseman Simon on the first pitch. Man, that was a hard-thrown ball, even harder hit ball, and a great backhand snag. Truly reactionary by Simon over at third base. They call it the hot corner for a reason.
Yeah, that's a position right there. You have one of the best athletes and most reactive players, but that ball was probably hit right about the 100-mile-per-hour mark off of the bat of Pimentel.
Jacob Wilson, 2 pitches in, has an out and a 1-0 count against Ryland Charles. He misses inside there. Wilson typically pitches a little bit later in games. He's got 2 saves on the year. He's appeared in 20 games overall, though, so he is the most oft-used arm on the staff by a long shot for head coach Gary Adcock. Charles bunts one straight back. That clears everything, including the press box, and moves the count to a ball and a strike.
Third baseman for Simon was actually coming in. He was on the grass. The situation where Charles was going to try to drag.
Wilson on the year, 5-3 out of the bullpen. 3.18 ERA. Struck out 33 and 28 in the third. Got a line drive out on the first pitch he threw. Charles able to stay alive. That line drive for Pimentel off the bat at 103 miles an hour. What a way to welcome you to the game. The pitch came in at 93, left at 103. So bombastic start to the 7th. Charles, meanwhile, with a 1-2 count against him. Almost offered up with that 56-footer, but the bouncing ball picked up by the catcher Carpentier moves the count 2-2.
Looking at the defensive alignment for the Lancers, center fielder Garcia playing relatively shallow, shaded towards left field. If Charles can get something in the gap here, he could actually end up on third.
Plenty of room in right center and down the right field line with Dar moved away. It's ripped down the right field side. It's fair. Into the corner it goes. That one called by Dan Dolby. Charles has the speed, turns second and rounds third. The throw from Dar goes to the cutoff man. Throw to third, not in time. It's a 1-out triple for Ryland Charles. That's his third 3-bagger of the year, and it'll bring the tying run to the plate in the form of Jacob Sharp.
Absolutely fantastic piece of hitting right there by the veteran Rylan Charles, the versatile player for the Rebels, moving over to first base today, takes that one right down the first base line, and we talked about the speed, him and Pimentel early, easily into third base for a triple.
You called it with the defensive alignment. Charles just listening and reacting as such. First pitch fouled off by Sharp. Charles having an outstanding day at the plate. Rylan at the top of the lineup yesterday, 0 for 4 with 3 Ks. Today, the exact opposite. He's 3 for 3 with a triple and a walk.
Situation here where Sharpie's got to elevate something. We got to get at least one run across with one out.
Takes that knee-high fastball over the heart of the plate for a called strike 2. Sharp's 0 for today after going 1 for 4 yesterday. He struck out, grounded out, and flied out, although when he grounded out, drove in a run in the third. When he flied out, took a diving grab down the line from Dard. So he's made it tough on CBU all afternoon. Here's the 0-2 from Wilson. Tipped off the end of the bat. Charles advancing from third. Wilson lets it go, picks it up too late in fair territory. That's an RBI for Jacob Sharp, scoring Rylan Charles. We've got ourselves a one-run game at 7-6.
That's an RBI hit right there that only traveled about 45 feet.
Out of the dugout almost immediately is Gary Adcock, and the right-hander warming up in the bullpen. This might be a quick outing for Wilson. But then again, we've seen Adcock go out to the mound and not pull his pitcher. It keeps you guessing as an announcer. There's some skippers where if they're walking out there, they're making the call to the pen. I kind of like the collaborative atmosphere at the college level, though, in some of these mound visits.
Absolutely. Now, Wilson right there, that dribbler that was hit by Sharp, was anticipating that thing to work foul, but actually had a little bit of a spin back into the grass for Sharp to be able to beat that one out, too. Wilson had no play whatsoever after Wilson hesitated to make that throw.
I kind of agreed with Wilson in the moment, to be honest with you. I thought that ball was going to have plenty of spin and kick off that cut of the grass, but it never really did. I think Adcock possibly out there with a coaching moment that he wanted to get in right away. Here's Noah Rodriguez with the tying run on base. Rodriguez represents the go-ahead run in the bottom of the 7th. 7-6 the score. It's been an exciting back-and-forth game today. Rodriguez takes the slider from Wilson way outside, and it's a called ball 1.
Last time we were in this situation with Sharp at first, or a runner at first, and Hernandez up. Coach Higgins sent the runner, got him in motion to open up that 4-hole gap, and Rodriguez was able to take advantage of that.
Takes a bouncing fastball for ball 2. The ball's on no strikes that count to Rodriguez. Yeah, you mentioned it. It was in the 5th inning with Rylan Charles on first base. Charles breaking on a 3-1 pitch. Really opened up that right side. Skipworth holding the runner on. And Rodriguez takes outside once more. 3 balls and no strikes to Noah Rodriguez. With Austin Krizik on deck, would not expect Rodriguez to get the green light here. You never know, though, as he has shown great bat-on-ball skills in limited glimpses this season. That one's way outside. No decision to be made. That's a 4-pitch walk, none of them particularly close. That's a big one as well because it moves the tying run into scoring position, puts the go-ahead run on. An average speed on each base with Rodriguez on first, Sharp on second. Austin Krizik 2 for 3 with an RBI so far today.
Lefty and righty up in the bullpen for the Lancers. They're going to stay here with a righty-righty matchup against Krizik, who's having a good day at the plate for the Rebels.
After Krizik, 3 of the next 4 batters are left-handed hitters. First pitch to Kriz, down low, a good take after a 4-pitch walk.
Yeah, I think you're going to see Krizik make Wilson throw a strike before he's going to get aggressive at the plate.
The right-hander warming up is Luis Becerra. He has been warming up for about 4 or 5 innings now, wearing number 17. Krizik takes a strike. Nice looking curveball that had nice side-to-side movement as well. Not your traditional 12-6 breaker, but Krizik likely instructed to take a strike in that at-bat. Counts 1-1. 2 on and 1 out in the bottom of the 7th inning. The pitch. Fastball elevated up by the eyes, taken for a called ball 2 for Krizik.
You've referenced this throughout the years. You know, Krizik goes up to the plate with no batting gloves. I love when he gets down, picks up some dirt, and says, "Let's go."
It's just old school. You don't see that nearly as often anymore, especially with the metal bats at the college level. Swings and misses, pulling the string on a changeup there was Wilson.
It's a good pitch by Wilson right there. Krizik way out in front of that, probably thinking fastball with a 2-1 count.
Now the count's all even at 2. Double barrel action down the left field side. UNLV with some bodies down the right field line. Krizik started to go around, able to hold up on a check swing. They appealed on the first base side, and Anthony Prater agrees.
Full count here. Krizik's got to be thinking fastball. Get the timing right on this one. We talked about that earlier. Getting the timing right. He's getting the ball in play, trying to get that runner across.
The payoff pitch to Austin Krizik. Swung on and missed. Strike 3 on the slider. Second time Krizik has been sent down via the K today. And for Kate Higgins, we'll have a mound visit and a new pitcher into the game. Looks like they'll go with the left-hander to face the left-handed heavy bottom of the lineup for UNLV. Gary Adcock out. He'll pull Wilson from the game. The number on the left-hander when we return. 7-6 the score. This is UNLV baseball at Early Wilson Stadium.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention.
Left-hander Brandon Ross, wearing number 27, takes over. The 6'2" left-handed grad transfer out of the University of Hawaii. He's pitching for his 4th different school. Started his career at San Jose State back in 2018, then Riverside City College, and then Hawaii for 2 years before transferring back to Riverside, pitching in his first season for head coach Gary Adcock. He'll be up against Kate Higgins. 7-6 the score, 2 outs, 2 on in the bottom of the 7th inning. Big spot in the game, featuring a left-on-left matchup. First pitch fastball down and outside to get it underway. Ross in behind Jacob Wilson, who got through 2/3 of an inning so far, allowing a run on 2 hits with a walk and a strikeout. He's responsible for Jacob Sharp on second and Noah Rodriguez off of first, as Ross tries to strand the inherited runners. Higgins with a ground ball off the end of the bat, right to the second baseman Maciel, who turns and fires to first in time. And for the second time today, CBU goes with a lefty up against Kate Higgins with 2 outs. Gets him out to end the threat. The Rebels do get within a run, scoring 1 run on 2 hits, including a Ryland Charles triple. No errors and 2 runners stranded on base. Through 7 innings full, CBU leads UNLV 7-6.
Gentlemen, earlier today we gave you all a trivia question to ponder, and now it's time to find out the answer. The question was, how many runs score on a grand slam? All of you should know this. The correct answer is B, 4. Many of you submitted a correct answer, but only one of you is the lucky winner, and that is Ruben Hernandez. Congratulations, Ruben Hernandez. Meet us at the top of the stairs by the press box to claim your prize. Congratulations, Ruben Hernandez. Leading off the 8th for the Lancers, number 15, Garrett.
Top of the
Austin.
CBU lineups to get things going in the top of the 8th inning. It's the Lancers on top of the Rebels by a 7-6 score. And what's been a tight game all day. Joey Acosta back out for his 4th inning of work. This is a big one up against Garrett Ostrander. Leadoff batting left fielder takes a called strike on a fastball. If Acosta can get you through 4 innings, that basically leaves you with just 3 outs left to cover on the back end of the bullpen. Good problem to have for Corey Vanderhook. Ostrander takes a called strike, 2 on a fastball, quickly behind, 0 balls, 2 strikes.
If Acosta can get us through this top half of the 8th inning, Rebels scratch one in the bottom of the 7th. Only trailing by 1. We can get back into this ball game and maybe get the closer Sellinger in.
Foul ball goes straight back and keeps the count at 0-2. Acosta allowed 2 runs on 2 hits in his first inning back in the 5th, but since then has allowed just 2 base runners, only 1 of them on a hit. And he's really done a good job in the 6th, the 7th, and the 8th of working around a base runner each inning. Sliders outside. Good pitch on 0-2, but Ostrander not stretching the zone.
Not to speculate or get too far ahead of ourselves, but Acosta works relatively in short order here in the top of the 8th. Do you bring him back in the 9th?
Depends on what happens in the bottom of the 8th inning for sure. Especially if UNLV is able to tie it or take a lead. Ostrander fouls this one straight back.
Acosta seems to be getting stronger as innings go on.
The psychology behind pitching out of the bullpen is really interesting. For a guy like Joey Acosta, struggling in the beginning of the year in starts, but has been actually really reliable out of the bullpen on the back end of the season. Case in point right there. Big breaking pitch that's cut on and missed by Ostrander. First time this series that he's been sent down via the K, as Acosta sets down his 4th batter via the strikeout today. And here comes Corey Vanderhook to go have a word, and he'll make the call to the bullpen. So Acosta just going after Ostrander, and with 2 left-handed batters due up out of the next 3, they're going to go with the southpaw out of the bullpen. That looks like it's Sellinger emerging. And it is. Bullpen door held open as Jack Sellinger will take the mound. Step aside for the pitching changes. Sellinger gets loose. This is an intriguing part of the lineup. 7-6 the score. 1 out, nobody on in the top of the 8th inning. Sellinger likely going to be asked to get 5 outs. He'll get warmed up. We'll come back in a moment with the Rebels trailing by a 7-6 tally.
No, we walk around the world, stepping out, giving a damn about where our feet land at. Yeah. Get y'all smushed.
Taking the mound for the Rebels, number 21, Jack Sellinger.
Next for me, 21, do your thing, 21, do your thing, do your thing, 21. Yellow diamonds in a watch, dick costs a lot, never seen a jump out, that's how you get shot. I be in the vanish mode, I do that a lot, took her panties off and this thicker than a plot. All my exes ain't nothing, in my arms ain't rapping, they ain't nothing, you ain't ready to pull the trigger, don't clutch it. I know you on your period, baby. Can you suck it? I'm a savage. Smacker, booty, and magic. I slap her with the ratchet. I might slap a track on this book and get the ad.
Here's Jack Sellinger in the top of the 8th inning. CBU over UNLV, 7-6. 1 out, nobody on. Got to applaud the effort from Joey Acosta today. Able to get through 3 1/3 innings, allowing 2 runs on 3 hits. Both of those runs coming in his first inning of work. He was able to right the ship as the bats got hot behind him. First pitch from Sellinger to Michael Carpenter as a fastball right down the chute for a called strike 1.
We talk about Sellinger's slider. He's got probably one of the best sliders in all of college baseball. His last outing in San Jose did get knocked around, very uncharacteristic of him.
There's that sharp breaking slider from the 6'3", 210-pound junior transfer after spending 2 years at CSN.
His last outing gave up 6 hits, 5 earned runs.
Both of those seasons high. As this shot ground ball goes right to Paul Myra, who doesn't field it cleanly and unable to recover in time for the throw to first. Tough fielding weekend for Paul Myro the fourth. As Carpentier hit that one right to him. Just ate him up and he was unable to recover.
Next up, number 1, Mitchell.
Yeah, we've talked about that last night and today's broadcast. You know, the defense for the Rebels at critical times is really letting the pitching staff down.
Let's go, Mitch.
Chance to make up for it right here, though. They're one pitch away from getting a double play.
Score that last one E6 on shortstop Paul Myro as Simon swings and misses over the first pitch slider from Sellinger. Now, if he can get that same exact ground ball, very likely gets him out of the inning. The woes yesterday for the shortstop were all of the throwing variety, and how about Simon there, fooled badly. That pitch nearly hit him in the back foot. He had already finished his swing by then.
That is one heck of a pitch by Selly there. That ball should have hit the batter, but he defensively took a swing at it and got out of the way.
See what he comes with on 0-2. It's a slider, another awkward-looking swing and miss as Sellinger had Simon all types of fool for the second out.
When Sellinger has that slider working, he's one of the best pitchers in the country. Big addition for the Rebels this year. Looking forward to seeing what he can do balanced this year and into his last season next year with the Hustling Rebels.
Dusty Garcia in from the left with 2 outs. This is why Sellinger was brought on to face against the left-handers. First pitch to Garcia. It's the slider. Another weird-looking swing and a foul ball going back into the mitt.
We're going to have to definitely get TrackMan stats because that ball's looking like it almost has a 2-foot break on it.
Boomerang slider. The main weapon for Sellinger. Throws a fastball and a slider, and that's it. There's the slider. Swung on and missed again by Garcia. Man, he has these CBU hitters all out of sorts here late.
They are really confused right now as that ball is 2 feet off the plate and they're still swinging at it.
Here's the 0-2. Just upstairs, although he had Garcia turning away from that pitch early. Sellinger trying to get out of Dodge in the 8th inning with a 7-6 ball game. California Baptist leading since the 4th. The 1-2. Slider right down the middle for a called strike 3. That's all you can do as a batter. Just tip your cap to Jack Sellinger, who gets a hot shot ground ball, followed by a couple of strikeouts. Dominant in the 8th inning is Selly. Rebel Bats with just 6 outs left to give, trailing by a run. It'll be Braden Murphy to lead off after this.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming into pitch for California Baptist, number 17, Luis Becerra.
7-6, the score in the bottom of the 8th inning. Rebels trailing by 1 against California Baptist after falling 9-2 yesterday. Luis Becerra, true freshman out of San Leandro, California, takes over atop the mound, facing off against the bottom third of the UNLV lineup. Braden Murphy followed by Paul Myro and Jason Sharman, trying to find a way to tie the game up. Becerra's first pitch outside on the fastball to Braden Murphy. Joey Acosta got the first out of the 8th inning, and then Jack Sellinger came in and got the other 2 in quick and easy fashion, and that's not even doing it justice.
Actually, absolutely impressive.
Murphy hits this one in the air to left field. Going back is the third baseman, Simon. He takes a swipe at it on a dive, but not able to get it. So takes a bounce and skips into the active CBU bullpen down the left field side. Murphy, who's 0 for 3 today, lives to see another pitch.
See some good plays by Simon at third base for the Lancers today, and that was one heck of an effort as he goes into that kind of slide on, like he's going into second base to try to make that over-the-shoulder catch. Great effort by the third baseman.
Becerra is the 5th pitcher used today by head coach Gary Adcock. It was a slider outside for a called ball 2. Becerra pitching for the 11th time this year, 1-0 record and a 3.94 ERA for the right-hander. 14 strikeouts to 4 walks over 16 innings even coming in. Opponents batting .283 against him. Murphy fouls another pitch in the air. This one, though, straight back into the seats down the third base side. And a count 2 balls and 2 strikes to Murph. Joey Acosta's final line, 3 in the third innings, 2 runs on 3 hits, no walks, which is a big number for him, along with 4 strikeouts. He'll leave with a no decision. Beal the pitcher of record, but I thought Acosta was especially efficient, especially in his last 3 innings of work as Murphy takes up.
Exactly what the Rebels needed from Joey today. You referenced it earlier. He's been a little more effective out of the bullpen. I talked to him about that in San Jose. He said his comfort level's good. He just needs a little bit more time to warm up coming out of the bullpen.
3-2 pitch, fouled straight back. Murphy stays alive.
He says when he's kind of get that quick call up out of the bullpen, he doesn't feel as ready.
Pitchers are creatures of habit, but especially the starters. They have their routines and they don't vary from them. Murphy lines one to straightaway center, a couple of steps over and in for Garcia. And center fielder snags the line drive for the first out of the 8th inning. Murphy's put 4 balls in play, all hit pretty well. But unfortunately, all into the glove of outfielders as he is 0 for 4 with 3 flyouts. 1 out, nobody on. It's up to Paul Miro to try to start the offense here in the bottom of the 8th with 1 out, nobody on. 7-6 the score. CBU on top in game 2 out of 3. Miro is 1 of 2 this afternoon. Takes a first pitch curveball just inside for a ball. Singled and scored in the 2-run third. Struck out looking in the 4th inning against the starter Ben Gard. Took a walk and was put out on a line drive double play to end the 6th inning. Exact 1-0 fastball missing low from Luis Becerra. Took 2 pitchers for California Baptist to get through the 7th inning, including Jacob Wilson, who gave up a run on 2 hits in 2/3 of an inning. Brandon Ross came in and got Cade Higgins to ground out, the only batter he faced. Miro takes a called strike on a fastball, and it goes 2-1 against Becerra. Becerra, one of the top freshmen on the roster for Gary Adcock. It's a swing and a miss from Miro, and it's now a 2-ball, 2-strike count to the shortstop.
Took something off that one. Miro getting way out in front of it, even up the count at 2s here.
Becerra pitched on Tuesday against UC Riverside, gave up a run on a hit in an inning of work. Gives up a ground ball on the right side and through from Paul Miro, who's having an excellent series. That's his 3rd hit of the weekend and his 2nd of the day. 3rd time he's reached base this afternoon as well. That's a big one, yeah, tying run.
Good piece of hitting right there. Now you got the lefty with Sharman coming up, who's had a good day at the plate, very effective. Laid down a sacrifice bunt, able to get a seeing eye single or last at bat. So lefty righty matchup here favors the Rebels.
First pitch grounded back up the middle. It sneaks through. Miro round second. He's headed to third. The throw from the center fielder Garcia is not in time. Heads up baseball on a well-placed single by Jason Sharman, and the tying run on third with 1 out in the bottom of the 8th.
Love the energy from Sharman over there on first base, trying to get the Rebel dugout pumped up. And that's a great piece of hitting, taking that ball right up the middle, almost hit Becerra on the leg as it passed through. Miro being very aggressive, was able to go in head first safely at third, and with 1 out, runners at the corners, and we're going to have a pitching change.
Yeah, California Baptist making the call to the bullpen. Luis Becerra faces off against 3 batters, gives up a line drive, and then back-to-back base hits. Miro on third, Jason Sharman on first. We've got the tying and go-ahead runners on here in the bottom of the 8th inning. California Baptist will head to the bullpen once more. We'll step aside for the pitching change here from Earl E. Wilson Stadium.
Making my way downtown, walking fast, faces passing, homebound. Staring blankly ahead, just making a way through the crowd. And I need you, and I miss you, and now I wonder if I could fall into the sky.
Ladies and gentlemen, now pitching for the Lancers, number 13, Seth Matix. And now batting number 22, Alex Pimentel.
So it's Seth Mattox, spelled M-A-T-T-O-X, on the mound for California Baptist, with Myro on third, Sharman off first. Back-to-back base hits off of Luis Becerra, who lasts through a third of an inning. He's responsible for both base runners, the tying and go-ahead runs. And here's Alex Pimentel in a 7-6 ball game. UNLV trailing here in the 8th inning. First pitch from Mattox, sidearm slider that fouled off on the right field side. Mattox 1-2 with a 10.22 ERA in 15 outings, including 5 starts. He's walked 18 and struck out 17 over 24 2/3. Opponents also batting .352 against him. It's the kind of pitcher that the Rebels typically have been feasting on this year. Long look in for Mattox. Side slinging righty, deals a pretty hefty looking fastball over the outside for a called strike 2 to Alex Pimentel, who's 0 for 3 with the walk and a run scored.
Even with the 0-2 count against him, Pimentel is going to be looking for something to elevate here. Try to get that tying run in with Myro at third, being able to tag.
The 0-2. Pimentel takes that boomerang slider way outside. So Mattox, the 5th relief arm used today for California Baptist, kind of the opposite of yesterday, where their starter Liam Rocho in 5+ innings and then 2 pitchers through the final 4 innings. No reliever has thrown more than an inning and a third. That was Ryan Hernandez, and that's a season high for the left-hander. Good size lead off at first for Sharman. Pimentel grounds it back up the middle, fielded by the pitcher. Looking to run down Myro between third and the plate. It's now with the catcher. Third baseman Simon makes the tag, but heads up base running by Sharman to advance into third base. Score at 1-2-5 on the putout of the tying run Myro between third base and the plate. But Sharman once again providing a spark with nobody covering third, advancing up from second to third as Pimentel reaches on a fielder's choice.
That's a heads-up play right there. Myro being very aggressive, moving off contact, but Mattox able to, that tall frame, be able to pull that ball down. But during the rundown, Sharman being heads up, getting to third. And now we got a guy still in scoring position, 2 outs. Base hit away from tying this one up.
So Sharman replacing Paul Myro at third base. Ryland Charles stands in and takes a first pitch fastball inside from the 6'2", 175-pound sophomore right-hander Seth Mattox. Charles having the best day of a Rebel so far today. He has tripled, singled, not once but twice, and walked. Perfect 3 for 3 with 2 runs scored. For Charles playing at first base this afternoon. Takes a curveball that misses up and outside for a called ball 2. Charles in a premier hitter's count at 2-0 with the tying run on third. Go-ahead run all of a sudden on first base, and Alex Pimentel.
Be interested to see the pitch here with 2-0 count. Second base open against the left-handed hitting hot Charles.
It's that elevated fastball for a called strike. That's not the one he was looking for. It was up and away as well. Charles likes to get the hands cleared on pitches over the inside of the zone.
But if you notice, all 3 pitches have been pretty much up and away from Charles, so kind of being a little careful with the hot hitting Charles.
He's choked up on the bat from the left side. Swings here, grounds it to short. Underneath the glove of the shortstop, Pano. Scoring from third is Sharman. Rounding second, heading to third is Pimentel. He slides in safely. Throw goes back to first. Charles is out, but we are tied at 7. Ryland Charles thrown out on the base pass. The run counts, says home plate umpire Michael Goebel. Charles disagreeing with the call at first, but Goebel emphatically signaling that the run does count. And we are tied at 7, heading into the top of the 9th. This one's going to be exciting one way or another. So we've got a tied up ball game going into the final inning between UNLV and California Baptist.
Never leave the city or town I was born in, just because I have the beach right next to my backyard.
New city or town every week. It'd be cool to experience different places all the time.
I never want to leave the city or town that I was born in. I like Las Vegas, and I don't want to be traveling every single week.
have changed for the Rebels. Now at second base, number 3, Gianni Horvath. Leading off the ninth,
UNLV baseball presented by America First Credit Union heading into the top of the ninth inning. We're all tied at 7. Rylan Charles putting a ball in play that was misplayed by the shortstop Josh Pano, allowing Jason Sharman to score the tying run in the bottom of the 8th inning. First pitch from Jack Sellinger in the top of the 9th, missing inside to the right-handed batting first baseman Jake Skipworth. Sellinger got 2 outs out of the 3 batters he faced in the 8th. Really could have and should have had all 3. As he misses outside here, and the count goes 2-0. Gave up a ground ball right to Paul Myro that the shortstop misfielded, and then got Simon and Garcia to strike out, really looking silly each time. Really neither of them on that slider that Sellinger features early and often. See if he throws it here on 2-0 to Skipworth. He does, and it stays way outside for a 3-ball no strike count.
You would think, too, Lancers are going to be keeping that bat on the shoulder. They have swung away twice, 3-0 counts, but 9th inning you're probably going to take.
There's a fastball knee high over the plate for a called strike 1 to Skipworth, who has struck out twice, both against Joey Acosta. He singled and grounded out against the starter Beal, so 1 for 4 overall. 3-1 out of the full windup. Same pitch, same spot, same call, as it goes from 3-0 to 3-2 on back-to-back fastballs. Now you would expect to see the slider, yeah.
Correct, 2 93-mile-an-hour fastballs, so Selly has that pitch working. There's that slider.
Just low, able to hold up on a check swing was Skipworth. Ooh, Sellinger puts the go-ahead run on base, and
Cole Howard.
as Skipworth heads down to first, Cole Howard will stand in from the right. Now everybody looking towards the third base bench. We may have a pinch runner. Thought we might as soon as ball 4 was called, and we do. It's Marty Munoz wearing number 20, pinch running. Munoz came in at the very end last night and played second base in the 8th and 9th inning as a defensive replacement when Cal Baptist was up big. Now pinch running at first base, representing the go-ahead run in the top of the 9th inning. So Munoz pinch running for Skipworth, whose day is done. Howarth in from the right side. He's 2 for 3 with a walk and a double today. Sellinger out of the stretch as Howarth squares to bunt, pulls it back on a slider way out of the zone. That pinpoint command that we saw from Sellinger in the 8th, not quite there in the 9th to get it started.
High and away, both batters now.
Howard squares to bunt, drops one straight back on a foul ball to keep the count even.
That's a tough pitch to bunt on.
Fastball that starts in on the chest and kind of runs towards the inside of the zone. I'd be interested to see if Sellinger throws a slider, because that one would be extremely tough to bunt. Howard squares early. He's sacrificing all the way. It's the slider. It's poked foul on the first base side. Basically threw that one at the belt line. Threw it over the zone and wanted it to break in on the hip, and it did. So now with the 1-2 count, Howarth likely swinging away.
Howarth with no sacrifices on the year, but 2 for 3 today, so he'll be letting this one fly.
Sellinger, after a couple of foul balls on bunts, throws to first, and he's got Munoz in the rundown. Charles chasing, faking, and applying the tag. And the go-ahead run set down. Gary Adcock out to argue a potential balk, but that's just that crafty left-hander pickoff move.
Absolutely huge play by Sellinger there. Delayed that knee turn just a little bit that time, a little slower. Runner breaking off, and good job by Charles to chase him down.
After that, the 1-2, grounded back up the middle. It's tipped off the pitcher. Charging his Meyer, it rolls up the shortstop's arm. That one gently redirected off the bat of Howarth by the pitcher.
Now batting number 8, Josh Pano.
Myro charged for his 2nd error of the game and his 5th of the weekend. It was the throwing errors yesterday. He's having issues fielding today.
Yeah, that ball was tipped just barely by Sellinger, but still, it actually made it an easier play for Myro as it slowed the ball down.
Josh Pano squares to bunt, pulls it back on a slider that nearly hits him in the upper extremity. And it's a 1-ball, no strike count. So Pano trying to get the bunt down to move the go-ahead run from first to second. In this case, it's Howarth. It was Munoz picked off. replaced by Howarth at first. Ground ball right side, backhanded by Myro. Feed at the bag is in time. Gianni Horvat's throw to first is there. A 6-4-3 twin killing to wrap up the top of the ninth. Dependable when you need him. Paul Myro, the fourth, starts the double play that gets the Rebels out of the ninth in a 1-2-3 fashion. Bottom of the ninth coming up. The Rebels need one run to walk it off and win. We'll see if they can do it from early Wilson Stadium.
Defensive change for the Lancers. Staying in the game and playing first base, number 12, Cole Howard.
It all comes down to this in the bottom of the ninth inning with the score tied at 7. The Rebels, looking for one run to walk it off and win, would move the series even after California Baptist won 9-2 yesterday. Designated hitter Cole Howarth moves to first base. We'll see what they do with the DH spot, should they need it in extra innings. But Howarth replaces Skipworth, who was pinch run for in the top of the ninth. 3-4-5 due up for UNLV. The heart of the lineup starts off with Jacob Sharp. He takes a called strike on a front door slider from Seth Maddox, pitching in his second inning of work out of the bullpen. Gave up a run on 2 hits in the 8th. Sharp followed by Rodriguez and Krizik trying to get it started. Slider popped up off the hands on the right side. Heading back is the second baseman Maciel. He's got the hand up, calling off the right fielder, and he makes the put out in shallow right field with both feet on the cut of the outfield grass. So the leadoff runner set down via the pop-up. Now it's up to Noah Rodriguez to try to put a runner on.
Big spot for true freshman Noah Rodriguez coming up. Ball game, looking to get somebody on base. My suggestion for the true freshman would be a little choosy right now. Maybe take a couple pitches as he's first pitch swinging.
So forget that. He's ready to hack as he fouls the first pitch off down the first base side. You kind of like one or the other. You want there to be an approach for sure. That was one of the things lacking in the loss yesterday. But you like to see the aggression from a true freshman every now and then. Behind 0-1 as Maddox deals a slider that catches the outside corner for strike 2.
That ball, from our vantage point, sure looks like it's up and out of the zone. But nonetheless, 0-2 count against Rodriguez. 1 out. Tight ball game here in the bottom of the ninth. Good ball game today. But a different contrast from what we saw last night.
Absolutely. 2 to Rodriguez. Poked in the air to right field, sending Dar back. Right fielder now stops, settles underneath, and reaches up to make the catch. 2 up and 2 down on a pair of opposite field flyouts from Sharp and Rodriguez. And with 2 outs, nobody on in the bottom of the ninth inning. Austin Krizik will look to end the game with 1 swing. Outfield shading especially deep as he steps into the right-hand batter's box.
Krizik definitely has that power. Right now we're looking for him to just drive something, try to get on base.
Takes a slider away for a called ball 1.
I'd like to get that lefty-righty matchup with Higgins coming up, sitting on deck. The home run earlier in the ball game.
Feast or famine for Krizik today. He struck out twice, he singled twice. Takes that pitch off the outside on the fastball from Maddox. 2 balls and no strikes the count to Kriz. Drove in a run on the 5th inning on a single. RBI number 24 on the year for him. Bounced Ryan Hernandez from the game. Meanwhile, here's the 2-0 from Maddox. Way outside on the slider, and Krizik's worked himself into a 3-ball, no-strike count. As you mentioned, just trying to find a way on. Cade Higgins, who's homered already, due up next. as Maddox out of the full wind on 3-0. Watching all the way as Krizik takes that letter-high sweeper coming across the entirety of the zone for a called strike.
It would not surprise me with the hitter and the approach he has. Krizik actually keeping that bat on his shoulder again, making him throw that second strike.
He's still ahead 3-1. Maddox deals out of the full wind and gets a big swing and a miss. Krizik trying to go the other way, but comes up empty. And the count now full at 3-2.
It's tough to stay off a pitch like that, but that ball actually worked its way out of the zone. The only way he was going to be able to make some contact was to actually take that to opposite field.
3-2 with 2 outs and nobody on in the bottom of the 9th inning. Pitch in there, call for strike 3. Krizik can't believe it. He runs down to first base anyway. And it's a 1-2-3 bottom of the 9th for UNLV. With that, we've got free baseball. Extra innings from early Wilson Stadium coming up. 7-7 the score between UNLV and Cal Baptist.
Let's get down to business. Give you one more night to get this. We've had a million nights just like this. So let's get down to business. Mama, please don't worry about me. I'm about to let my heart speak. Friends keep telling me to leave this. So let's get down to business. Let's get down to business. Give you one more night to get this. We've had a million nights just like this. So let's get down to business. Let's get down to business. Give you one more night to get this. We've had a million nights just like this. So let's get down to business. Back and forth with the book.
The 10th for CBU, number 10, Matthew Darr.
Let's go, Darr!
Extra innings from early Wilson Stadium on a Saturday afternoon here in Las Vegas. 7-7 the score between UNLV and CBU. 8-9-1 due up for the Lancers against Jack Sellinger, who's back out for a 3rd inning. He has been excellent so far, not allowing a hit through 2 innings, or rather an inning and 2/3. About to be 2 innings full after the first out of this frame. It was a fastball for a called strike to Matthew Darr, the right-handed batting right fielder, who's 2 for 3 since being inserted as a pinch hitter in the 4th inning. Sellinger's been a bright spot late in this game as the left-hander deals that slider, grounded up the middle. Shortstop Myro gloves, throws, and it's in time to first base. First out of the first extra inning, set down on the 6-3 ground out. And brings up the second baseman, C.J. Mascio, with 1 out, nobody on. The Rebels down in order in the bottom of the 9th for just the 2nd time today in the since the first inning.
And looking at the box score, you know, the one number that sticks out is pretty even, but the fielding situations with 4 errors.
Mascio takes a ball high.
But those 4 errors really haven't come back to hurt the Rebels because it's 7 earned runs for the Lancers.
7 runs on 13 hits for CBU, 7 on 12 for UNLV. Maciel squares to bunt on 1-0, pulls it back on a slider in by the back foot for ball 2.
Let's go, CJ.
Maciel came in as a defensive replacement in the 6th. His first at bat in the 7th ended with a swinging strikeout against Joey Acosta. That fastball just inside to move the count 3-0. Joey Acosta was excellent after giving up 2 runs in his first inning of work. Allowed just 1 more hit throughout the next 2 innings plus. He was really good as the game got late. Ball 4 outside, a 4-pitch walk following a leadoff groundout. That puts the go-ahead run on in the top of the 10th inning. With the score at 7-7, the lineup back around to the top as Garrett Ostrander stands in for the 6th time.
Let's go, bud.
We are getting some activity going on in the Rebel bullpen. It looked like Sam Simon got up, the lefty.
Tough to see down that right field side as the first pitch misses inside. See Garrett Ostrander with 1 on and 1 down. Sellinger's looking for another ground ball somewhere up the middle here. Sellinger pitching through 2 innings full. Time is called by the batter Ostrander. season high of 3 2/3 innings, in which he threw against San Diego State back on the 5th of March for Sellinger. Bends the batter away with a slider inside. That's now 6 straight balls after the leadoff ground out.
A situation where he's got to find the plate. Got to get him to roll overs. We're going to get probably talk about the same thing we're talking about right now. Let's get the ball into the zone. Hopefully use that slider, get the batter to roll over on something, get out of this with a double play. And Coach Vanderhoek's going to go out and he's going to just talk to Selly and the infielders on some strategy. But I think this is more along the lines of just getting his confidence back after getting that first out. The last 2 batters struggling to find the plate. They're not going to be making any changes, and Selly continues to talk to the infielders as Coach Vanderhoek walks away.
Sellinger's slider is the kind that's perfect for inducing ground balls off right-handed hitters. I mean, he needs to start that thing over the outside, have a cutback in on the hands. Ostrander's grounded out in each of the 2 games of this series multiple times. So after the mid-at-bat mound visit, here's the 2-0 from Sellinger. He elevates a fastball up and away. Now 7 straight balls for the lefty. Definitely is action down the right field side. Tough to see from our vantage point who it is warming up. Could be Simon, as you had mentioned. 3-0 pitch down and inside. That got off the foot of the umpire Goebel. Taking a turn around second, but no further. Goes Maciel. So now all of a sudden you've got back-to-back runners put on via the walk. With 1 out, 2 on. It's Carpentier, the left-handed batting catcher, standing in.
Sellinger threw 3 straight fastballs there. I think in that at-bat, I think he threw 4 out of the 6 pitches were fastballs. So hopefully he hasn't lost any confidence in that slider. Good opportunity against a left-handed hitter here.
Carpentier with the multiple hit game today already. Takes that slider in through the front door for a called strike 1. That's more of what you like to see out of Sellinger. It's Maciel on second, Ostrander on first. They both reached after a leadoff ground out by the right fielder Dar. Carpentier behind 0-1. Takes another slider for a called strike. That one with more vertical break on it. It's quickly ahead 0-2.
Good sequence now, a little confidence going. Shaking off the sign from Sharp.
He's got a pitch in mind on 0-2. Let's see what it is as he comes set and deals. That's the slider, swung on and missed. Sellinger shakes a pitch. He's got the right one, and that's a big out number 2 in the 10th.
Pick him up, Mitch.
Yeah, you see a pitcher like Selly shaking that off. He's got something in mind before he came to set. So, no, Coach Vanderhoek has no problem with a pitcher shaking off when he's got confidence in something.
2 outs, 2 on in a 7-7 game in the top of the 10th. Mitchell Simon takes a slider outside. A ball, no strikes to the number 3 hitter in the lineup. Western Athletic Conference leading 14 home runs on the year and 41 RBIs, although he's got neither this weekend. The 1-0, swung on it, missed. That's the slider once more by Sellinger. After the pitch, Simon turned around and asked Michael Goebel, was that going to be a strike? And you just saw a nod from even where we're standing. Yep, that thing right down the middle.
We did get some numbers. Things breaking almost 2 feet.
Throws it again here. Simon hacks and misses. A ball and 2 strikes as Sellinger is 1 strike away from getting out of the jam. Can't put the cart ahead of the horse, but the Rebels in the bottom of the 10th will send Higgins, Gianni Horvat, and Paul Myro to the plate. The 1-2 from Sellinger. Swung on line through the left side of the infield for a base hit. Getting the wave around to the plate is Maciel. Throw from Krizik's cut off. Rodriguez's throw to the plate is not in time, and the Lancers jump ahead 8-7 in the 10th inning.
Selly kind of hung that slider right there, ahead in the count 1-2. You'd like to see that a little lower in the zone. Simon did a good job of waiting on that. We talked about letting that ball travel, and he did that, was able to pull that ball, hit a hot shot. Krizik on the relay to home, wasn't able to get that there quick enough. Now the Lancers take a 1-run lead here in 2 outs in the top of the 9th inning.
Simon with his 2nd RBI of the weekend and his team leading 42nd of the year. As Dusty Garcia stands in from the left side and pops the first pitch up lazy to left field. Krizik steps back, left fielder makes the catch, and the side retired in the top of the 10th inning. a run scoring on a base hit and 2 walks, and the Rebels down by a run in the bottom of the 10th inning. They need 1 to tie it and extend it. They need 2 to walk it off and win. We'll see if they can do it. Cade Higgins to bat, trailing 8-7.
Here we go, bud.
Bottom of the 10th from early Wilson Stadium, and the Rebels trail 8-7. They need a run to extend the game. And for the second time in as many days, the 6'3" junior right-hander Ryan Delgado to toe the slab for California Baptist. He'll face off against Cade Higgins and Gianni Horvat and Paul Myro IV. Delgado pitching for the second time of the series, although very different instances in which he's been inserted into the game. Delgado, out of Santa Maria, California, deals to the Las Vegas native Cade Higgins. Gets ahead on a called strike on the curveball for strike 1.
Delgado primarily out of the bullpen, but does have a couple of starts. Very versatile pitching staff for the Lancers.
Higgins hits this one off the hands in the shallow right center field. Going back is the second baseman Maciel. He makes an overhand grab. And shallow right center field for the out. First out of both the 9th and the 10th inning have been pop outs to Maciel in shallow right field. Delgado retires Higgins, and now it's the first at bat of the day for Gianni Horvat. Delgado's 1-1 with a 2.36 ERA on the year. Pitched yesterday, first man out of the pit behind Liam Rocha. Came in with the score at 6-1 in that game. He comes in looking for his second save of the year today. It's ahead of Horvat. Takes the first pitch he sees on the day for a called strike. Delgado working out of the full windup with nobody on in an 8-7 game, bottom of the 10th inning. The 0-1 to Horvat. Slider that catches the outside, and it's quickly no balls and 2 strikes to Gianni, who's been in the field defensively for a couple of innings, but batting for the first time here in the middle game of the 3-game set. Horvat, a 200 batter on the year. Takes that bouncing ball for ball number 1. Ball and 2 strikes to Gianni. Comes in after Braden Murphy finishes 0 for 4. Murphy was good today, put the ball in play all 4 times, really stung at a couple of those.
Happened to be at every Lancer in the field. Spreading the ball around.
1-2 to Horvat. Down and outside. A late call for strike 3.
Oh, that's one of the latest ring-ups I've seen in a long time.
23, Paul Myro.
The Rebels with their backs against the wall, down to their final out of the day after Higgins pops out and Horvat called out on a pitch just on the outside. That'll bring up Paul Myro IV, trying to extend the game. Paul 2 for 4. 3 Rebels make it 4 with multiple hits on the day. Swings at the first pitch, but lines it foul out of plate on the first base side.
Ryan, you got it, bud.
Rebels with 7 runs on 12 hits, 8 on 14 respectively for California Baptist. Jumping out on top on a 2-strike base hit from Mitchell Simon in the top of the 10th inning. 0-1 to Myro, knee-high fastball called for strike 2. UNLV down to their final strike. Delgado trying to close out his second save of the year.
Here we go.
Myro single, struck out, walked, and then singled again. His 4 plate appearances in a row. Takes that one just off the outside on the slider for a called ball 1. Similar spot to the strike 3 call on Horvat.
Tough pitch to lay off there. 2 outs,
You got it, Ryan.
2 strikes, and game on the line.
There's As the 1-2 from Delgado in the dirt. Myro able to check up, holding on the swing, and the count goes even at deuces wild. Myro can find a way on. Jason Sharman's on deck, and he's had an outstanding afternoon at the dish.
The man has taken advantage of an opportunity today.
Count even at 2 to Myro as Delgado takes the sign from the wristband on the left arm. Right-hander deals out of the full wind. As Myro swings and misses at strike 3, and that'll do it. Rebels unable to take advantage of late offense as they fall 8-7 today. Dropping the second game of 2 to California Baptist, dropping them to 14-22 on the year and 7-8 here at Earl E. Wilson Stadium. The offense got going. Pitching was solid throughout the day, but it was just a battle of attrition. California Baptist had the momentum swing their way at the end.
Yeah, in comparison to last night, much better effort all the way around for the Rebels. Just come up a little bit short. Sellinger struggled a little bit with the first couple batters that he saw, and then good at bat for Simon to get that go-ahead run for the Lancers to end up being the game-winning run. But Rebels, I think, have some stuff to build on at least going into tomorrow, and then a 2-game series against always tough Creighton. But more importantly, trying to get some momentum going, finish off 12 straight games in the Mountain West Conference, sitting in the 6th spot of a 7-team league and only taken 4 to the conference tournament. It's going to be imperative for the Rebels to try to get something rolling, get some momentum over the next 3 ball games as we head to San Diego State next weekend. Try to get into that 4th spot. You don't want to be that 5th team, 6th team, doesn't make the conference tournament after winning the conference last year by 4 games.
Final line score, California Baptist winning with 8 runs on 14 hits, 1 error, and they left 10 men on. UNLV, 7 runs on 12 hits. Remember, they scored 2 on 6 yesterday. They matched their total of errors yesterday as well with 4, also leaving 8 men on base. Seth Maddox with the win to go to 2-0. 2-2, beg your pardon. He tossed an inning in 2/3 and was the pitcher of record in the top of the 10th when California Baptist jumped on top on a Mitchell Simon RBI base hit. Jack Sellinger takes the loss to drop to 2-2, and Ryan Delgado with his 2nd save in 2 opportunities on the year. We played in 3 hours and 2 minutes today on a picture-perfect Saturday for baseball, as the Rebels falling 8-7, dropping to 14-22, 7-8 here at home. California Baptist back to 500 on the road at 11-11. They're 3 games over 500 at 21-18. 8-7 loss today for UNLV, trying to get vengeance tomorrow, trying to avoid a 3-game sweep at the hands of California Baptist. Dan and I will be on the call. A 12:05 first pitch here from Earl E. Wilson Stadium on the UNLV Athletics YouTube page. For my broadcast partner, Dan Dolby, for Kelsey Olson and everybody else here at UNLV Athletics, I'm Matt Neverett saying thanks for tuning in. 8-7 loss today. Back at it tomorrow. Rebels take the field at 12:05 Pacific time. So long from Earl E. Wilson Stadium.